infrared saunas.
That was enthusiastic.
Come on.
I'm excited. 12 days till the Super Bowl. 12 days till we find out if we have a new social media producer.
Well, that one's done.
It's not done.
She should survive.
We're like 6 million
locked
short. No way to tell.
No,
I mean, I would be devastated. I think Gianna's
it's
an
over,
ace,
though.
but
it's unless there's a Bears Caleb Williams-esque comeback for non-views.
Negative comeback.
Yeah, we're safe. Live from New York, it's the first hour.
That's good. I like
First
that.
things first. Today, Josh Allen gets a brand new coach. Pretty much the same coach. It's his OC. Did the Bills get better, worse, or did they just stay the same? Meanwhile, guess who's going to the Pro Bowl? Shedeur Sanders. What does this mean for him, the Pro Bowl, and oddly, the Hall of Fame?
the Hall.
I mean, I see where you're going.
Thank you.
Honestly do. I can't wait to talk
What,
about it.
rookie QBs who made the Pro Bowl?
No, when
They're all-
you're making a Hall of Fame case for someone,
Oh, yeah.
you're saying
Did Mac
ex-Pro
Jones make
Bowl.
it as a rookie?
Yes, he did. He was 10-7. I have his stats in case anyone tries to draw that parallel. I am armed and ready. And finally, a special edition of Mahomes Mountain. It's not just Drake Maye Darnold. It's got everybody in it.
It has the whole league. You have to introduce us then after Bill.
Chris Broussard, Kevin Wilds, and Nick Wright here on First Things First, the first hour.
Bro, Wilds calls me into his shared office today, and he's like, all right, I know this is the whole league, but I'm just curious. If it were just the Super Bowl quarterbacks, Drake would be up top, right? And I'm like, yes, KW, don't worry. I'm like, yeah.
He would.
He would have.
To be fair,
He's
if
better.
you made
He
a
hasn't
Darnold
played
argument,
better.
I wouldn't like.
Well, he hasn't played.
Well,
Go to
over
the
the
mattress a
totality
little
of the
bit.
season, he
Right, but
and
these
so
two
in the
games,
playoffs, sure, but no, May would
Okay.
have been.
I wrote it in my intro.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
We start with the Bills' new coach, old coach. Bills promote OC Joe Brady to take over for Sean McDermott. He had interviewed with the Ravens, Raiders, Dolphins, Cardinals, and Falcons before he said, oh, Buffalo's got a head coach open. Why don't I take that? He's been the QB coach, the OC, and now the head coach. Do you like this for Josh and the Bills?
I don't like or dislike it, but I don't understand it.
There you go.
As we have said repeatedly on this show, I think it's ridiculous to have a super strong take on any rookie head coach,
Right.
positive or negative. You can be,
You just don't
You're
know.
right. You can be very super optimistic, like folks were about Ben Johnson because of what we thought we had saw, and then pessimistic. I don't even know who we're pessimistic about. Usually, it's just like I was pessimistic about Brian Schottenheimer because he had been an assistant for so long, but it's all kind of within 40 degrees and 60 degrees. Nothing too cold, nothing too hot. But I don't understand this one because the owner at that press conference, Terry Pagula, to me, made there are two totally unrelated but memorable moments from that press conference for me, and both of them, even though they're unrelated, say you wouldn't hire Joe Brady. So the first one is somewhat inconsequential, but noteworthy. Keon Coleman was the coaching staff's pick.
Yeah.
I would argue that if that's true, the loudest voice on the coaching staff about which wide receiver to take is not the defensive-minded head coach you fired, but most likely the offensive coordinator who is going to be working more closely with Keon than the head coach. So that to me is just odd that the owner made it very clear that pick was terrible. We don't like Keon, even though Keon's on the team. And it's not the GM's fault. It's the coaching staff's fault. And to me, I read that as now the head coach. It is now the head coach's fault if it wasn't before. And the other piece of it that I will remember from that press conference is I wasn't going to fire Sean McDermott going into that game. But when I saw how devastated that locker room was, I felt like we essentially needed, and now I'm paraphrasing here, a sports exorcism, that we just had to rid ourselves of the bad vibes of these defeats. Joe Brady's been there. Now, he wasn't there for the 13 seconds. And maybe it's just but he was there for the devastating playoff loss the year after, and the year after that, and the year after that. So he's been there for the following 4. So I don't get it, is my short version of it. I don't understand why, if that's what you needed to do, that you would hire from within. It's not to say he won't do a good job, but it doesn't follow the logic of why McDermott needed to go.
I get it. I don't know that I would have done it, but I get it. And what I think this does, to the degree that we can be certain, because you're right, you don't know. Even Brandon Beane said, look, we want to get a leader. We want to get a CEO, it's a CEO position. That's what we're looking for. We don't necessarily know if that's Joe Brady. We know he was a very good offensive coordinator. But I do feel confident that the Bills aren't going to go backwards. Like, I feel like at the very least, they stay where they are.
Okay.
And if they had brought in Clint Kubiak or any other, and I get it, Joe Brady's a first-year head coach too, but let's say they bring in some young hot shot or just anybody from the outside. You don't really know if he's going to vibe with Josh Allen. Is he going to vibe with the team, with the organization? So you're kind of rolling the dice, right? I think with Joe Brady having been there, their offense has been fine. Under Brady, they're generally a top 3 scoring offense. In the playoff games he was a coordinator for, they scored 30 points against Denver and lost. That's not an offensive problem. They scored 29 against the Chiefs last year and lost. Not a scoring problem. The year before they scored 24 when they lost. But, and this is not an excuse, but he took over halfway through the season for Ken Dorsey. The 10-point loss, when they scored 10 points and lost to the Bengals, he wasn't the OC. So I can't put that on him. So I feel like the offense is just going to keep moving. It's an offense that produced an MVP season for Josh Allen, rushing leader season for James Cook. Hopefully he'll add a top-notch receiver, and I think the offense will be fine. The key is for him to get the right defensive coordinator. Now, there's some talk they're going to look inside.
No, I think they just hired him.
Or did they?
I think like 5 minutes ago. Gosh, I hope I don't get this wrong. I thought it was reported they hired Jim Leonard as offensive coordinator. Guys, please tell me if I'm screwing that up.
That hurts my feelings.
He was Denver Broncos assistant head coach and expected to hire Jim Leonard as defensive coordinator. He was the defensive backs coach and pass game coordinator for the Broncos last year, and this year assistant head coach and pass game coordinator. But he's never been a coordinator or a head coach.
So
he's a Wisconsin guy.
He's like Wisconsin legend, like undersized guy, went to the league, kind of like fan favorite.
But his first team was the Bills.
Yes. Yeah. He came and took over. Who'd they fire? Shoot, I forgot who the Badgers fired. But then
Brett
he was
Bielema?
After Bielema.
Okay.
I think it was that. Yeah, after Bielema, he came in, and everybody wanted him to be the Wisconsin head coach. So he is, I think, a great coach. And that, as a Patriots fan, that hurts my feelings. But as a Jim Leonard fan, I'm happy for him. Dusty, can you throw up the Bills scoring defense? That was my number one question when you talked about.
DC, right?
Yeah. All right, suppose Josh Allen is even. I don't think we expect Josh to, get better. Maybe he matures or gets to another level or somehow.
He should play at least at the level he's been
Let's
at,
say he's like MVP adjacent level, top 5 MVP. The Bills scoring defense, this has been a great defense. Fell off the last 2 years. I don't know how much of that is just kind of schedule luck
that bad. I mean, it's nearly top 10. But they've been great in the regular season. They haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs.
So
defensively.
So I am not as confident as you guys that this team won't backslide. And I'm not as confident as you guys, that because you promote the offensive coordinator to head coach, it has no impact on your offense. Because is he still going to call plays? That's a lot, man. Head coaches that call plays very often, the game management stuff can start to fall by the wayside, particularly first-time head coaches. When they said we wanted a CEO-type head coach, this wouldn't be the type of CEO that I would be looking for, but I thought they meant kind of a guy who has Sirianni's job. I'm not calling offense or defense. I'm over John Harbaugh. I'm overseeing the operation. If that's what they're asking him to do, then they still need a play caller. They
But
still
look
need a
at
new
the-
offensive coordinator.
So maybe
What
it's-
coach is some of the ones that call plays?
Well, Sean McVay, Andy Reid, it's always in the shadows. Is he calling plays or is the? I mean, it's Andy's
a
offense.
lot of his
yes.
Super Bowl. Yeah, he's Andy Reid, LaFleur.
LaFleur. No, a lot of the
I mean,
best.
those are good. Yeah,
But a lot of the ones that flame out too. A lot, you know what I mean?
Ben
A lot
Johnson.
of the ones that can't, that can't get it together. I'm not saying it can't be done. I have a hard time. I don't know what we attribute the Bills' offensive success to. As far as, is it just like once Josh Allen became Josh Allen, that team was going to have an awesome offense? Because when you look at Josh's numbers across 3 coordinators, so since 2020, so he really didn't become a good player until the end of his second year.
Right.
And we can give Dable credit for helping him become that player. But once he became a good player, so the passing yards have gone down.
because Brady took the ball out of his hand.
Correct. The passer rating has been essentially the same. The rushing touchdowns have skyrocketed as they've started to do tush push and more of that. Just so everyone knows the number of games, Dable was the coordinator in this stretch for 33, Ken Dorsey for 26, Joe Brady for 41. So I guess my question is, like, if someone else was named to replace Ken Dorsey and they're just league average replacement offensive coordinator, are they going to get that production out of Josh Allen? Because, like, how much worse production would you have gotten?
Well, the thing is, they got rid of Dorsey for a reason. You know,
Because
I
they
mean,
were 5 and 5
and they
and he
weren't
was turning
playing
the
well,
ball
right?
over.
And then as soon as Brady took over, they became elite again as far as a team. So, and it was odd because he took the ball out of Josh's hands. They threw less, they ran more, but it's worked.
Domino effect here quickly before we move on. If Daboll is now out of this job,
It looks
obviously, is that going to be a Titans
the
job for him, or is that going to be Philly?
the reporting is that he's taking the Titans offensive coordinator job unless he gets the Raiders head coaching job, which means out on Philly. That Diana
Daboll being
reported
out on Philly is really confusing to me.
I agree.
Really confusing.
I would think he'd be interested in that.
Yeah, if he's not, you mean it'd be one thing if he's taking a head coaching job instead of going there.
Yeah,
but to say I'd rather be the Titans OC,
He must love Cam Ward.
I would imagine that he feels like Titans. I'm still scattered right now. Titans hired Robert Saleh.
Yes.
Correct. He probably also imagines, all right, I'm going to have at least 3 years to prove myself here. And we're talking more about the Philly thing later. I think people are worried the Philly thing is, I'm going to go there, and the head coach could be removed in a year, and then it doesn't matter what
Or the OC, period.
Right.
Even if the head coach isn't.
All right, moving on to the Patriots, the lucky Patriots. Mark Schofield writing for SB Nation, how the Patriots pulled off the Super Bowl's biggest one-year turnaround ever. In it, he cites Drake May's ascension, free agency, the draft, coaching, and some luck. The Patriots faced the Chargers in the wild card game without their starting tackles. Divisional round game against the Texans, C.J. Stroud was more than happy to keep turning the ball over. The AFC Championship game saw Bo Nix fracture his ankle at the end of the divisional round, forcing the Broncos to turn to Jarrett Stidham. Schofield largely balanced.
I was going to say, I don't think this article infuriated you.
Not at all.
Okay.
I actually thought it was pretty fair of a jumping off point to talk about, is it fair to criticize the Patriots' path to the Super Bowl?
It's fair to bring it up, and that they had the easiest, the 10th easiest schedule of all time, and one of the easiest, the easiest schedule this year.
The easiest this century.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fair to bring it up, but honestly, right now, I don't think it's fair to criticize them for it. Because they've proven, okay, the schedule was weak. So what? We have beaten the best the AFC had to offer to get to the Super Bowl. To me, that's like criticizing Jordan Love and saying he played Division I AA, FBS. He didn't even play. Like, to use that and say he's not a good quarterback. No, he's already proven he's a good quarterback. Okay, no matter what he did in college and where he played at, he's proven he's a good NFL quarterback. I think that's the thing for the Patriots, because the path is, I've said it ad nauseum, you've gone through 3 of the top 10 defenses in the league. The Chargers Justin Herbert legitimately made the Pro Bowl. One of the 3 quarterbacks to legitimately make the Pro Bowl in the AFC. And they've played without their true offensive line all year and still won 11 games. So that's Houston was probably the best defense in the league. C.J. Stroud had 2 interceptions in his first 5 playoff games. He had 4. Now, look, C.J. was terrible. But I got to give the Patriots some credit for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense, had him shook. And then Denver, look, obviously they were playing with a backup quarterback, but it was in snowy conditions. And that one, okay, if you want to say Jarrett Stidham, fine. But I not to mention, Nick, 3 great coaches they went through. Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and DeMeco Ryans. Objectively great head coaches. So, I mean, I can't hate on it at all.
So I don't actually think the regular season schedule matters at all anymore. I don't think people will remember that. I don't care about that.
Right.
I just don't think it. Like, the only reason, and I like to think, you guys can watch trivia online when we do it on every Wednesday or Thursday. I have a pretty encyclopedic memory of football. I had no idea the 99 Rams had the easiest schedule.
No, I'm always shocked.
I had no memory of that whatsoever. I do remember playoff games and teams you faced.
Right.
And I don't think the Chargers in round 1 is an easy matchup. I think that's about a league average, 2
playoff
versus 6 playoff matchup. You're not going to face a perfect team. Like, they had some strengths, they had some weaknesses. You guys made them look awful. Mm-hmm. And some of that might be Herbert's own failings, whatever it is. Houston, none of us thought that was going to be a walkover game. CJ, I give some of the credit to your defense, and some of the credit seemed like CJ short-circuited. Right. But again, you guys forced it. Being the first team ever to face a quarterback who hasn't taken a snap all year in a conference championship game is unique. Like, that's
very fair.
And it's why you guys were the first road favorite of that much in a conference championship game. All those things, like, that is a unique historical outlier piece of it. But that's just one of your games. So here is how I would phrase it. I think if the Niners had made the Super Bowl and the path was in Philly, then in Seattle they win it, then in Los Angeles, it's like, man, that is a gauntlet. Right. If the other 2 seed, the Bears, had won the gotten to the Super Bowl, it's like, oh, okay, you played Green Bay, then you played Stafford and the Rams, and then you went to Seattle. That would, I think, fairly be considered a tougher path than this one. But I actually, KW, think the path and the regular season schedule will only matter in one very specific circumstance.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
If we get smashed in the Super Bowl.
Correct. If you win the Super Bowl, literally no one will care. Yep. No one will remember.
Oh, I don't know about that.
If you
really?
If we win the Super Bowl, I'd be like, Sam Darnold.
No, I
think the talk will be 4
But if Sam Darnold melts down, it'll be like,
KW, when you say the talk,
that's what it'll be.
And this is advice for Kevin Wildes, advice for viewers, and advice just for every human being alive.
Oh my goodness, let's buckle
Please stop treating what are likely bot accounts as real human beings.
There are a lot of political bots out there. There are not a lot of Denver Broncos bots.
Listen, KW, there will not be anyone with a credible voice if you guys win the Super Bowl saying, like,
if
you will have to, right? If you,
I can mute that.
Right. If you win the Super Bowl, it won't matter.
Just be haters.
I would argue, if the Super Bowl is a great game, and you guys lose, like how the Rams lost a couple days ago, I don't think people will say,
no.
Yeah, buts.
No.
If you guys get clocked,
we're not getting clocked.
I know you're, but I think you guessed it. If you guys get, and I think you'd agree with me, if they get clocked in the Super Bowl, then people will be like, good team, pretty lucky schedule plus Bo Nix, probably not quite a Super Bowl caliber team.
And they'll
That's
also
the only
be
scenario.
Like, the AFC was horrible this year. That's
right.
what they'll be like.
Right.
Because would we rather Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos in it?
Right.
So can I just say one thing about the Denver Broncos? And maybe I am talking to Denver Broncos bots.
Yeah.
You know that meme, speaking of being online? I know that's not who I think it is, talking. Denver Broncos fans, slow your roll when you start talking about backup quarterbacks. Talk about why that game was in Denver, why the Broncos were the number 1 seed. The final week of the season, the Chargers rested everybody. The Chargers rested everyone. So you got to play Trey Lance and got a free win, so we couldn't have the number 1 seed.
Who did you guys play the final week of the year?
We played whoever was on our schedule. I think the Jets or the Dolphins.
It was the Jets and their backup quarterback. But go ahead.
But they fielded somebody. The Chargers were purposely losing that game to rest. Hold on, let me go.
Sorry.
The week before that, they go into Arrowhead and play not Patrick Mahomes because he was injured, and they barely beat Chris Oladukin. The week before that, Trevor Lawrence lights them up. The week before that, they are losing by 2 when Micah Parsons, the best player, defensive player in the league, gets hurt, and then they score 2 more touchdowns and win that game. So just hold on you guys got injury luck against your opponents with the Patriots.
The bots have really gotten under your
the
skin.
bots got
this
to
is
me.
not a
The bots got to
KW, nobody.
It's a fair to criticize the past.
KW, your monologue there against Broncos fans tweeting at you.
Impressive, though.
I appreciate the memory, but I just
settle down, Broncos fans.
If Brew or I tried to give that type of history lesson on things that actually were relevant, and we're like, in the week before that, you would do your
I just
little.
don't want to hear it.
I'm just done
hearing it.
Nobody's
I'm done reading
hearing it but you.
I'm done talking about it. That's it. I'm done.
All right. That's
you guys would have lost to the Packers if Micah Parsons didn't get it.
Okay, good, buddy.
From now on, I'm just talking about the Seahawks. Call it the Shedeur Step of Destiny.
Shedeur Step of Destiny.
Drake is in the Super Bowl, so Shedeur steps into his Pro Bowl spot. Curious? Kind of. Drake, Herbert, and Josh Allen were the original starters for the Pro Bowl games. Mahomes, Daniel Jones, Bo Nix, all hurt. Trevor reportedly opted out, and we haven't heard from Burrow, Lamar, CJ, or Aaron Rodgers.
They had to opt out. I don't know about CJ.
Well, they only
other two
named
had to be
4
out.
official alternates, and then after that, it's fuzzy.
So we don't even know if Burrow's like.
Yeah, once you get past the named starters and the 4 alternates, then nobody really knows how they decide who.
So
to invite.
here's Shedeur's numbers on the season.
They're not great.
Bro. 35th is there's not that many teams.
36th is worse.
I don't even know what last is.
37.
We just keep going. Oh, 37.
37th, is that what last
Yeah,
was?
last is 37. So it'll be Shedeur in the Pro Bowl games. Your reaction?
Well, look, you guys know I like Shedeur. I pull for him. I hope he does well. I think he's got talent. I think he's earned a chance to be the starter next year. Yeah. That said, this is embarrassing. Not for him, for the league, for football. Like, this is terrible. This has literally become a participation trophy. I mean, that's what it is. And he's not the first. Remember a few years ago, Tyler Huntley threw 2 touchdowns, had 3 interceptions, and a 77 passer rating, and was a Pro Bowler. And my point is, it belittles and cheapens the honor of being a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, it's kind of gone.
It's terrible. And so, look, if I feel bad for the old guys that made it, that earned a Pro Bowl spot, because now we look back, well, did he really? I mean, everybody's a Pro Bowler now. This is crazy. And
it's
here's
this
the thing.
position specifically.
Yes.
It's quarterback more than any
Mac
of the
Jones,
others.
Trubisky, I think's made
Tell
2.
them the Mac Jones stuff. Like, here we go.
Well, but the thing is that what they should do is just name the Pro Bowl team, the official Pro Bowl team, and that's it. And if they need to fill out the spots when they play, hopscotch and hide and go seek in Orlando or whatever
Do
it
they
is.
play
I mean, whatever they do. All right?
That would be pretty
Run
sick.
wind sprints, whatever.
Hide and go seek and hopscotch actually was pretty sick. I actually like
Get guys, right?
Yes.
Bring them there. Give them a free trip to Hawaii, Orlando,
Exactly
wherever
right.
they do. But you are not a Pro Bowler.
And
And here's the final thing, and you alluded to it earlier, Nick. You and I look at this stuff. This does affect Hall of Famers. I said yesterday, Matthew Stafford's only been to 3 Pro Bowls.
Yes.
So does that weigh into his Hall of Fame case? Yes. And so you mean after he's played 17 years, Shedeur after 1 season is 2 Pro Bowls behind Matthew Stafford? This is ridiculous.
So everything you said is correct, and it's such an easy fix. Because, by the way, for the majority of NFL contracts and for fifth-year option incentives, it's named to the original roster. They have what you're talking about. It only clicks in if you're on the original Pro Bowl roster. Most contracts, depends on how they're written, but most, and all fifth-year option stuff, you don't get the bonus if you're an alternate. Okay. So this is an easy fix and an easy win, and I call on someone in the NFL league office and the archives office and someone at Pro Football Reference to say, hey, we're going to fix this bookkeeping error. We're going to go back as far as we have access to the archives, and you are only being designated a Pro Bowler if you were named on the original ballot. And moving forward, you are only called a Pro Bowler. You only get the little star on your Pro Football Reference page. Hopefully the wiki editors, which do a really good job of this, keep it with that, if you are named to the original roster. Because it is really just bookkeeping is what we're talking about. None of us care if Shedeur is at the event.
Right.
None of us cared when Tyler Huntley was at the event. What we do care about is because so much of sports, as silly as it is hypothetical, historical arguments. Yeah. It's who was better, this guy or that guy. Who's the best players of an era. We need an agreed upon record of events. Right. And so they can fix this. So just make it to where you only are a Pro Bowler if you were named the original Pro Bowl. That's it. Sorry for Mac Jones.
So when he hit the gritty.
He hit the gritty in the Pro Bowl, but he was not a Pro Bowler.
What would you call him?
A participant.
In what?
Because when they did his contract, they're like, no, you didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Correct. It literally.
But what? He's a participant in what?
He was a participant in the Pro Bowl. But just like someone who sits in a seat filler at the Oscars doesn't mean they were nominated for the award of the person who got up.
But they were at the Oscars.
They were at the Oscars. He was at the Pro Bowl, hitting the gritty, despite not being a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he's 10-7, threw for 230 yards.
Wilds ready to
22 touchdowns.
Wilds wanted to argue about Mac Jones and argue with Bronco bots.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply, so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
We're on the way to 1 billion views. We're at 6.5 million on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Also, our podcast, currently number 2 in the world. We dropped one behind some murder show. My
Listen,
God.
I'm not sounding.
I don't know why anyone won't listen to those. Listen to sports. It's fun.
I'm not sounding any alarms.
I'm
just telling you. That means yesterday we did a little over 400,000.
Oh, that's
We need to average 500,000 a day until the Super Bowl. Or Gianna, hit up that LinkedIn.
2018 draft class featured several stars. Baker was at 1, Darnold at 3, Josh Allen at 4. Shout out to Josh Rosen, made the graphic, and then Lamar at 32. But Darnold is the first quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl. Greg Jennings is here with us. Welcome, Greg. Nick, we'll start with you. What do you think this means for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? They still haven't gone to the Super Bowl.
So I actually want to hear what you guys think, because I think for Josh Allen and Lamar, Darnold isn't the person that's in the Super Bowl, that it impacts them the most. I said that awkwardly. What I'm saying is, I think Maye making the Super Bowl has more of a reputational impact on Allen and Lamar than Darnold does.
I think
because I don't think I don't think fans are like the 2018 draft class.
Exactly.
Like what's going? And so I don't know where you guys.
No, I think that's a great point you made. And look, I think this is a great feather in Sam Darnold's cap, because he was viewed as a bust. Now, Josh Rosen was in that draft. He's out of the league. Yeah. But outside of like Baker, Lamar, Josh, Darnold was like the worst quarterback by a mile. He was the one that was a bust. The other two are winning MVPs. Baker resurrected his career. So I think this is nice for him. Like, people talk about it. Okay, he's really arrived. Mm-hmm. But to Nick's point, it means nothing for Lamar and Josh. Nothing at all. Like, he's not in their class. Nobody's going to think. Now, maybe he will. We'll see what he does going forward. Right now, nobody in the right mind thinks Sam Darnold's better than Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
I mean, that gap is narrowing, however.
It may have narrowed a little, but not much. I mean, is Jim Plunkett with two Super Bowls and Eli Manning with 2 Super Bowls better than Dan Marino?
Listen, outside of the winning and the statistics, it's like, what are...
He's not even close to an MVP. I mean, they've won. Lamar's won 2. Josh has won 1.
I'm just saying, the guy is putting up great numbers. He's top 10 in everything. You had the graphic, and he's currently in the Super Bowl. I just don't think it's like, Sam Darnold. I don't think we can do that anymore.
I'll open the door to going forward. Maybe he'll really catch those guys in 3 years or whatever. But no way. Like, I can't imagine anybody's looking at Lamar.
I have written down, it doesn't mean anything in terms of being a knock on Lamar and Allen. And I'm kind of with Nick, like, because of, I don't know if I'm with you yet.
You usually are.
Like, when I look at Sam, like, this is to your point, a feather in his cap, because he's the king of the second act now.
Yeah.
Like, because none of these guys, like Baker, was initially
the guy in his draft class who it hurts the most oddly
Baker.
Baker.
Geno was the first guy that made the transition, and it was like, oh man, Geno resurrected his career. And then it was Baker Mayfield, and then it was Sam Darnold, and now neither one of those two prior to Sam had actually done this with their team. Sam is now that guy, so he will be that guy that we all point to. But in terms of Josh and Lamar, it's just with Drake Maye and this Patriots team now going, and Drake being in his second year, it only shows how difficult a road is going to be. And I don't know which one of us have said it, might have been you. Somebody's not getting one.
Period.
Yeah. Somebody's just simply not getting one. You can throw Joe Burrow in that group as well. Like, I know the different draft class, but that's what Drake Maye getting to the Super Bowl means.
So this is this kind of ruined, and doesn't ruin, but it takes question in a different direction, but it's the same genesis of topic, I guess. I look at this quarterback matchup in the Super Bowl, Darnold and Maye, and not that, man, Darnold got there before draft mates Allen and Lamar.
Yeah.
I look at it as, man, that big four that we talk about, that really, to be fair to Matt Stafford, he showed this year, should have been a big five of Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Stafford. Drake Maye, and he has not played well, in my opinion, this postseason, but he was so good in the regular season, and he has kind of the reverse working for him that Darnold is working against him. When you're young and you've already been this excellent, that's a supercharge as opposed to being older and having bad years of football behind you. I think the big loser is Joe Burrow. I think that if I'm making a QB top 5 today, Joe Burrow is out and Drake Maye is in. And because it's also that Burrow's, the biggest calling card for Burrow's career was Mahomes made 5 out of 6 Super Bowls. Who's the one guy else who made one? Me. And now it's like, well, 2 guys have made one, and yours was 5 years ago. And this, this
5 years ago, it seems crazy.
But that's what it was.
And then they missed the playoffs the last.
I mean, I guess it was 4 calendar years ago, but 5 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that to me is what it is. To the point you were making, KW, Darnold would have to play at the level that he did this year again.
One more, yeah.
And then I can start entertaining him in the Allen Lamar era.
No, I'm not really
if he
putting
has
him there.
in the Super Bowl?
I just don't think it should be.
You mean the
don't-
season?
I'm
Next season?
I'm
or
saying
the Super Bowl?
I'm saying if next season Sam Darnold's team wins another 14 games, he has
yeah.
another 4,000
No
yards, he
question.
has a 100 passer rating, and it's 3 straight.
I think you won't even have to wait. It'll be halfway
I
through the
doubt
season.
it. I
if they're
doubt
rolling.
it. I doubt it. I doubt if we do that, because when we look at Josh, we look at Lamar, we look at the guy in kind of in a vacuum of his skill set.
Yep.
And so we automatically, because of their ability, separate them because of how great they are throwing the ball and how dynamic they are running the football. So naturally, it's like how you would categorize quarterbacks.
Superhero civilian.
Exactly. We would still keep Sam Darnold in kind of a civilian because we don't feel like he has the athletic ability and the skill set that these two. Now, he's done a number of evolving as a quarterback, growing, going through adversity. The second act, that's all Sam Darnold. I think he should get a tremendous amount of credit for not giving up on himself, for being able to sit behind guys, learn, go to other systems, absorb, learn, carry that to Minnesota. Then when he gets with KOR, gets a great opportunity, strikes gold there, and then they are like, we're not going to pay you. Go to obviously Seattle, and then does it again when we all were still doubting him because we said, let's see if Sam Darnold could do it again this year. Guess what he did? He did it again this year, and now he's in the Super Bowl. And we're still saying now, let's see if he could do it again another year. We'll keep doing that because his skill set doesn't.
I agree with the skill set thing, but at some point the accomplishments start like this. And again, it's not like he would just be winning games. His numbers
have been great.
Have been really good.
And that's when I'll start being like, the guy was a great recruit out of high school.
There you go.
He was a top.
You know what I like?
Like his pedigree is not nothing.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? We're just gonna be like fold the Jets.
Bears OC Declan Doyle
Exactly. I agree.
withdrew his name from consideration for the Eagles OC job. He's returning back to Chicago to work with Caleb. Philly's still waiting to find an OC. What's anyone's theory on why the Eagles haven't filled this spot?
I think Sirianni's a lame duck, and they don't want to move to Philly for a year to then lose the job. That's what I think. I mean, here we go. They have talked to or been connected to Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable, Zach Robinson, Bobby Slowick, Declan Doyle, Mike Kafka, Arthur Smith, Charlie Weiss Jr., and those are people we know are not taking the job. They have been connected to and or talked to Jim Bob Cooter, Josh Grizzard, Matt Nagy, Frank Smith, and my old pal Gerard Johnson. Those people might take the job. We don't know. That's 13 people. This is an A-list franchise. They spend a ton of money. You are in a cosmopolitan, cool city, tough city, I understand. But, I think Philly is, if you were a better than average NFL city as far as I'm going to move there and have a good life, all those things. But I just think people are like, man, I'd rather, as Brian Dable just showed, go to Tennessee where Robert Saleh just got hired, where I think he has a long leash where we can grow together, rather than go to Philly where I think the head coach is on the hot seat, and if he gets fired, almost always the whole staff. I understand the Bills just promoted the offensive coordinator from the fired coach, but that's pretty rare. That's my read on it.
Well, I think it has to be either that with Sirianni and maybe not respecting him, the not liking the way he acts, all his histrionics and stuff, or Jalen. To me, those are the only two possibilities. I get it that the city's tough, but it's a great sports town. If you're a head coach or a coach and you're afraid of the Philly fan, come on, you're not worth the job anyway. So I think it's got to be either Sirianni or Hurts. And obviously I like Jalen Hurts. He's proven he can win a Super Bowl. There was some reporting out of Philly that, he does his own thing and changes plays or whatever. So we're guys worried about that. Not throwing as many intermediate passes. Do they feel he has certain limitations that they can't overcome? I don't know, but it's got to be either Sirianni or Jalen.
Sirianni, and for reasons different than Nick. And I say Sirianni because if you're an offensive coordinator, to touch on your point really quick, and the natural progression is offensive coordinator, have success, possibly get looked at to become a head coach. That's the natural progression. Same with defensive side of the ball. In this situation, you have all the skill guys. You have the personnel. Every coach believes, man, if I had that, I would be able to make something out of that. And so naturally, I don't go to the ideology of, man, a coordinator is going to be like, man, Jalen Hurts. No, because the coaches that aren't in the room with Jalen Hurts believe I can get more out of that guy. Every coach feels like they can get more out of somebody else's talent. The reason why I say Sirianni is because he seemingly has naturally, he's the head coach, has his hand in things to where if I'm coming in as a coordinator, it's either going to be this is what I'm bringing and we adapt and I bring on some of the old terminology and some of the old things that I feel like would marry well, or you're telling me this is what you're going to get. And this is how you're going to run. This is how you're going to.
At least some of the guys would have full control of the offense.
So, but
the OC.
And you can say that. However, coaches talk just like players talk. Hey, man, how was your experience? Was it just you? Were you running the offense?
Oh, man,
did Sirianni
in those meetings.
Did Sirianni have any say that it's just different when you're actually in a system? I just find it hard to believe that a offensive coordinator seeing that type of talent, obviously there's some unknowns about is AJ going to be there, how it looks moving forward, but it's still a very talented roster offensively saying, nah, I don't want to chance my career on that. That's just odd.
I'm with you.
Very interesting. Weirdest and most wonderful plays of the night next. That's interesting, Greg.
Thank you.
I would jump at it.
I don't think they want to hire you, KW.
There's not limitless jobs. How many OC jobs are there?
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccerrules.
Steelers head coach introduction, pretty rare. Last one was in 2007. Mike McCarthy introduced today as Mike Tomlin's successor. He was asked about his old quarterback, Greg. Take a listen.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. And I have spoken to Aaron, and so that's really where we are there. But I was able to sit back and watch the games. I watched most of the Pittsburgh games on TV, and I thought he was a great asset for the team.
All right, Greg, I know yesterday in the OT you talked about the fit, so it's sort of Greg's choice here. Do you want to talk about the fit, or do you want to kick around Rodgers and McCarthy?
I mean, I guess we can do both.
All right.
We can do both. Look, in terms of the hire, I don't mind it, and I also can understand it from the Pittsburgh perspective, where when listening to that interview, that presser, like obviously there's a relationship tie there with Omar Khan, where if you're a general manager and you're bringing in a new coach, the likelihood of you having a lockstep guy is very unlikely. He's able to have that with Mike McCarthy because of their relationship stemming back to New Orleans when they were there as young guys there. So that gives him a level of comfort as a general manager to where, you're going to subscribe to kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to subscribe to what you're doing. We have this rapport. As it pertains to the organization and Art Rooney, he said it, and I believe this to be true. He understands this is a league about winning, and Mike McCarthy has done that. He's missed the postseason 6 times. 3 of those times were due to him not having his quarterback for the entire season. Twice, his first year and last year in Dallas, and then in 17, I believe, in Green Bay.
His last year there, yeah.
His second to last year.
In Dallas, his first year in Dallas and his last year in Dallas, Dak Prescott got injured. Right. And then 2017, Aaron Rodgers got injured. He was gone in 18.
Yep.
And so when you look at that, it's not necessarily about, okay, how does he perform in the postseason? First, you got to get there. And he talked about how you perform and sustaining the success in the postseason. He spoke to that. You got to have the guys on the roster. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are currently, as they are constructed, able to do what they did this year or be a little bit better, he talked about Mike Tomlin leaving him a full cupboard pretty much, that was due to a lot of what Aaron Rodgers was able to do. So I can understand why you would hire a Mike McCarthy because he has the track record. He's proven he can win, especially when he's had that guy obviously in his prime. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you really want this opportunity to leverage what you have in Aaron Rodgers to allow Will Howard, which seemingly seems to be like the direction they're leaning in terms of growing and developing a quarterback.
I do like Will Howard.
Like, you want him to be under the tutelage of a guy like Aaron Rodgers, and you want to see if you can pair that with Mike McCarthy. He has familiarity there. It makes sense. It gives you another year to allow that quarterback school to take place that Mike McCarthy always speaks of.
I like that part. Will Howard, I mean, I liked him at Ohio State. Maybe, I think he's got potential, maybe. We'll see. But I like the tutelage aspect. And the thing is, we think of McCarthy as this old guy. He's younger than John Harbaugh. McCarthy's 62, Harbaugh 63. So that's, I guess, because he coached well, they both coach young. But anyway, I think if they win next year, bringing back, having McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers what are they going to do next year? If they win 10 games and make the play, they have no chance of reaching the Super Bowl. None. So to me, it's spinning your wheels. It's just running in place at best. And I'm not even sure they're going to win that many games. They won the division this year because Lamar was hurt, and it was a weird year for the Ravens. Obviously, the Bengals were hurt too, or Joe Burrow's hurt. But the reason the Steelers have been so tough, Greg, is because of their defense. And McCarthy, a lot of the blame went on the defense as to why Aaron Rodgers couldn't get to another Super Bowl with McCarthy. So is he going to bring that same defensive focus that Tomlin had? And if they're not tough defensively, that offense is not going to be good enough to get them 10 wins, I don't believe, if the defense isn't there.
So it's just it's the kind of the inverted situation of what they currently had, because offensively, his teams have always performed.
Yeah, but the last year he was in Green Bay with Rodgers, they were 6-9.
That was the one bad year with a healthy quarterback.
Right, but again, Rodgers, I just think an old Rodgers and McCarthy together, I haven't seen that's going to work. I think McCarthy's a good coach, don't get me wrong, but
if I'm hiring Mike McCarthy because I feel like, man, I want a guy who I believe can get the most out of quarterbacks, the last thing I want is a 42-year-old Rodgers. To me, the whole idea behind it would be maybe he can get whatever there is out of Will Howard, or who we draft, or who we're going to draft the following year, or see if he can turn Malik Willis into the next Sam Darnold, something like that. I'm not going to kill the hire based on. I have been very critical of Mike McCarthy's game management.
Yep.
But other than that, the resume is very similar to Tomlin, Sean Payton, and John Harbaugh, who everybody likes. So I will be fair there, because I do think he kind of has worse PR than the other three one-time Super Bowl winning coaches of his era. But when you sign up for Aaron Rodgers, whether you acknowledge it or not, what you're also signing up for is Adam Thielen taking snaps away from your rookie fourth-round pick, and MVS. You are going to be an old win-now team,
right, and
I don't think they have enough talent to be win-win now. And I would rather try to play young players and develop and build something. So I'm not anti the hire. I would be very anti Aaron Rodgers coming back.
Mahomes Mountain next. They're not going to do that. They want to win.
Look, to have Rodgers, if you're right, if he can develop Will Howard, then I think it's worth bringing him in.
Rodgers' wife might be ready for him to retire.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
Live from New York.
That's a player move right there.
That's great. That's an all-time move.
Yes, it is.
It's a show that has expensive taste.
Yeah.
but maybe not the budget.
Yeah, exactly right.
Second hour of First Things First. Today, Josh Allen's got a brand new coach. It's his old OC. Did the Bills get better, worse, or did they just stay the same? Meanwhile, what is the number one reason the Patriots got to the Super Bowl? It's like title pie, but it's credit pie.
Credit pie.
Credit pie is nice. And guess what? Hubs came into my office. Guess what he told me, bro? He got a pie.
real pie?
I forgot that we do a real pie.
Yeah, of course.
Did you know what kind?
Hubs, what kind?
It better be Mississippi mud.
Mississippi
or else
mud
Brew's
pie
gonna
is
be
just a
upset.
brownie.
No,
Whatever.
It's just
what
like
Brew likes.
Actually, I'm off pies now.
what
I'm
do
off
you
pies.
what do you want,
I mean, I'm cutting down on the sweets.
bro?
Yeah,
Say this.
I don't believe it.
Good answer. Good answer.
Every 6 weeks you say that.
I love
Cut
it,
down
bro.
on
I'm
the
supportive.
sweets. Yeah. I'm
right
trying
now.
to get like Greg.
Okay.
2 weeks until the Super Bowl. Quick review of the mountain as we stand. I checked with you earlier in my shared office. Drake is number 1. He's on top of the mountain. Darnold is number 2, but we didn't make a graphic for that. Since it'd be a short segment, we're looking at the entire league in a special Super Bowl preview, but also the entire league version of Mahomes Mountain.
Indeed. And obviously this can change and probably should change for at least 2 of the guys pending the result of the Super Bowl. And also other things in the offseason, further introspection, how guys do or don't recover from injury, things like that can change it. But this is where I think we sit as a whole at the tail end of the 25 season, heading into 26. Also, green means you moved up, red means you moved down. This is, the up or down is based off of where you were week 1 of this year. So not at the, going into this season versus what we think will be your standing going into next season.
Oh, this is going into next season or right now?
It's a little bit of both. What I'm saying is, but the green or red is based on where you were going into this past season. But as always, there's only 28 spots on the mountain. So the following people not climbing at the moment. It is Tua, who I don't know if he's going to be a starter.
Not even.
The 2 Falcons quarterbacks, because I don't know who the starter is going to be. J.J. McCarthy,
Tough one.
Pro Bowler
Yeah, he's a Pro
Shedeur
Bowler.
Sanders.
How's he not on there?
And I just put the Jets quarterback on there not only because I don't know who their quarterback is going to be, but I now believe if you're the Jets quarterback, you're just destined to not be good.
I think they let go of their OC today.
Yeah, today.
A little
late.
Guys, what are you waiting
They're
for?
looking at
late.
Like, you know what? I looked at the tape. We're bad. You gotta go.
But I'm just.
Somebody's going to go out and sign
I mean,
Zach
I want
Wilson.
100%.
I would.
Zach
Hold
Wilson
on.
is a huge winner from the Sam Darnold.
He should be on the most of the games.
Absolutely.
Great team.
All right, bottom of the mountain. Fernando Mendoza.
Love it.
He's going to be the number 1 pick of the draft.
Wow.
Do I think he is likely going to be, a top 28 quarterback as a rookie? Let's see who the Raiders hire as head coach. I think it's on the board. And remember, mountain's not left to right. A couple of guys going into year 2 that had solid rookie years. Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw from Shuck. I liked what I saw from Dart when he wasn't in concussion protocol. And, we'll see how I think John Harbaugh will be good for him, calming force. Bryce stays where he is, where he was. Again, there was a moment where it looked like he might climb, a few moments where he might fall. He stays where he is. Rodgers is where he is. Kyler was borderline, because again, but I'm pretty convinced he'll be a starter somewhere next year. I just don't know where. And Geno, it's not left to right, but he's hanging on for dear life.
Can I ask you a quick question?
I would love it.
I'm going to bring back this segment. Geno.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? He was excellent in Seattle.
They wanted to bring him back.
Correct.
And is it just the offensive line?
I think, he played poorly. The offensive line, Carroll seemed to not totally have it together. And it might be the Raiders or Jets West. Where, you know what I mean? Like right now where you can't overcome the dysfunctionalness. That'd be bad for Mendoza, but, and so that's bottom of the mountain. Row 6.
Tough one.
So, listen.
Wow.
So we'll talk about all these guys. I don't know what to do about Justin Herbert. I do know he is now in the tier of, don't actually care what you do next regular season, and he knows it.
Oh, Lamar tier.
Right, but Lamar Lamar at least had some good postseason games hanging his hat on and higher regular season highs. So it's even, and it felt to me in the playoff game this year, you could tell he was like, don't throw a pick, and it affected him. Jaden, you can't have that many different injuries when you were already, to me, an injury risk and move up from where you were. CJ had a rough year and then one of the worst halves of playoff football we've ever seen. Purdy, I thought, played well when he was out there, but the injuries are mounting, and I think dropping him is fair, given that the injuries are a piece of it. Cam Ward is getting a little bit of number 1 overall pick bias, to be totally fair, where you're just trying to find some things to hang your hat on, but you also hope he can be like a different number 1 overall pick from his division, Trevor from a few years ago. Disastrous rookie year, but with few moments, and then year 2, new coach, things are together and you jump up. And Daniel Jones, even though he's coming off a torn Achilles, I think he is held now in higher regard than he was going into last year, when people didn't even know, should they be starting him over Anthony Richardson. Now to the top 15, and I gotta say it's a strong top 15 given who's not in it. Jordan Love almost moved up based on his season this year. I think where he's at is fair. Dak Prescott, again, didn't want to move him up, didn't want to move him down. He played well. Jalen's got to move down. Even KW's not going to, I would imagine, not going to take issue with it.
At one point, he was number 1.
Right.
After this,
Yeah, briefly, for a moment. Baker Mayfield, if not for the last 9 games of the season, he was looking great.
Yeah, that's true.
The last-
Cool
Shouldn't have played, Baker. Shouldn't have played him.
I think that the way the season ended, plus Stefanski coming to the division, we might get chip on his shoulder, Baker.
Love it.
Oh, I think we definitely.
And here's what we know about Baker Mayfield. Injured shoulder, Baker, really bad. Chip on his shoulder, Baker, really good.
Good take.
And Bo Nix played the best game of his career in the divisional round, and then saw his stock rise a little bit more when you saw the Broncos offense looked without him in the conference championship game. Don't get mad at me, Wilds. I understand.
There we go.
I understand the Patriots would have done that to him too.
I'm just saying.
But Bo Nix, top 15. Top 15.
That's good for you.
Yeah, fair's fair. The games have to matter, America. Top 10. What a row. We have the average draft position of this row is 1.5. 3-1-1-1. Sam Darnold has played the best game of his life to get to the Super Bowl. Back-to-back 14-win seasons, 4,000 yards. KW, it's nothing to sneeze at. Caleb Williams, if NFL Films was like, hey, show me the 10 best playoff throws of this century, 2 Caleb Williams throws are on that reel from this month. The Prince, 13-4, top 5 MVP candidate. I thought, again, he wants that throw at the end of the playoff game back, but acquitted himself very well over the course of that playoff game. And Jared Goff, I know the team wasn't very good this year, but another just workmanlike Pro Bowl level season from Goff. Goff and Love, Brew, just so you know, was my hardest. Again, it's not left to right, but oddly enough, it was the far right, far left, whatever. Top 6. Allen and Lamar's teams underachieved to a level where the coach got fired. Now, that is not all on them, but Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times in the playoffs, and Lamar missed a third of the season. Can't move them up, and other guys, to me, took their spots. I think it's fair. Joe Burrow had already kind of been, not penalized, but we had some injury skepticism, which is why he was where he was on the ranking. I guess you could argue for Darnold ahead of Burrow or one of those other guys, but I feel comfortable with where he is right there. Second row. Stafford, who's going to win MVP. Drake May, who I think is going to finish second in MVP.
Not left to right.
Not left to right. And May had a really strong argument, like, is May going to be at the top of the mountain? Legit. 80 yards in the conference championship game. The overall struggles in the postseason, not quite enough, which, listen, I'm as shocked as anybody because it was out there to be taken. Somebody, the belt was hanging over the ring like Hell in the Cell or a ladder match or whatever the WWE thing is. But Lamar missed the playoffs. Burrow missed the playoffs. Josh had 4 turnovers. Stafford just didn't make the Super Bowl. Drake May's averaging 50 yards passing the last week. I don't know what to tell you. Atop the mountain, Patrick Mahomes. I'm as shocked as the next guy. Here's the thing. I understand the audience, and maybe someone on the desk is going to say, Mahomes can't be at the top of the mountain. I want to know who is. That's it. I just want to know, if it's not Patrick, who is it? Greg Jennings?
Well,
what do you think of the mountain? It's good to have the whole league back.
It is good to have the whole league back. I'm not going to address Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, there's no one to replace him.
We're almost just letting it happen.
It's unfortunate. However, I will say a couple things really quick. Daniel Jones,
I moved him up.
I like that. I think he could be a little higher. What I will say really quick before I get to mine is, where is it?
Oh, tell me. Just tell me the name. I'll tell you where it is.
Herbert. I think Herbert gets knocked because of how he showed in the postseason versus the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
I would have Herbert a little higher. I didn't choose him as my guy. I'm going to go to my guy, though. Caleb Williams. You got Caleb, you moved him up. I actually don't think you moved him up high enough.
Wow.
And I know for all you guys, I think I'm just like Caleb Williams hater. I'm not. I actually believe that Caleb Williams should be on the roll, and you can move any one of those guys. I actually said Burrow, swap him with Burrow, because Burrow, obviously, it hasn't looked like what we came accustomed to believing it was going to be sustainable, what was going to be sustainable for him and that team in terms of wins and losses and where they hold their rank in upper echelon.
And his health has been an issue.
Correct. Caleb Williams, though, the constant progression, and I know the knock has been, he's through 58% he only completed 58% of his passes this year, but if you watched him all season long and listened to Ben Johnson, it was all about his progression, his growth, his development, and we saw that all season long. He's the one that of everyone on this list, and I mean everyone on this list, next year, going into next year, I feel like the growth and the development, he can make, again, the biggest jump. Because in year one, he was 62% completion. Obviously didn't have the coordinator, obviously didn't have the head coach support and all the things that he needed and the skilled guys around him and the offensive line. He made such strides this year, and we still were like, man, he's not really playing complete games. He's not really playing like efficient football. But when the game is on the line, he's spectacular. I think that's the next step for him. He has the situational football he has down. Ben Johnson challenged him this year, which is why I believe his completion percentage was down. Next year, going into next season, I believe he works on that all off season. He comes back even better, and who knows what this team can do next year because of that man right there. Caleb Williams, I believe he deserves to be up.
Very optimistic.
I mean, it's listen, I'm a Caleb guy. Everybody knows it. And I mean, you want
kind of
him.
Gave up on him.
No,
early in the season.
you
handed
he
him
gave
off
up
I am
completely.
KW.
You dropped a banner.
KW around the office, off the air.
Yeah.
What am I famous for? Giving great gifts.
Crippling nicotine addiction.
Yeah, that's true. But am I a great gift giver?
Yes, you are.
I am a
gift
great
giver.
gift
you are
giver.
definitely a great
everyone
gift
can attest. Not so much Greg.
I was gonna say,
He's not really
wait,
right.
hold on.
A lot of times it's like when
You are.
I don't
And
get gifts.
whether it be, nice shoes or robes for you guys,
we had give Greg a gift.
Let's get back to
I
the
should
gift
give
giving.
Greg a gift, but what do you give the man who has everything?
Nice.
I gave Danny Parkins Caleb Williams, not because I didn't want him, not because I didn't need him.
Well, you're certainly not
but
the
because
biggest
it was
Caleb fan
on the show.
on the show. You're not.
No, because Danny's from
Danny
Chicago,
came
so
in.
yeah,
So we all are about even on
no, because KW doesn't
I
believe.
like him now.
No, I said I'm in a. I'm
Brew,
in a criticism for
KW doesn't believe.
I do.
And Brew, you're reviled in Chicago. Everybody knows it.
Apparently.
So I don't want to go against what you're saying because I'm such a Caleb guy. You just want him back where I had the foresight, the row I had the foresight to put him when he was a sophomore in college. I think it's a smart point.
Yes, have him
All right,
up.
Brew, go ahead.
All right, I'll represent the people. Mahomes can't be.
Yeah, we didn't want. It just feels like it'd be a fight.
And I'm a Mahomes guy,
So
but
who is it?
Stafford.
Okay.
Great regular season, probably the MVP. Great in the NFC Championship game. Defense and special teams
Lights
failed
are
him.
on, but nobody's Mahomes.
Again, Dusty. All right, teammate of the year,
like it.
Dusty, not me.
I like
He
it.
put Brew. I'd even put Brew on there. Just that's you, Dusty.
I like it.
All right, here's first of all, he's hurt. So he wants to be back for week 1. We obviously hope he's back for week 1, but that's up in the air. If he's not, even if he gets back for week 1, is he rusty? Is he, banged up, not quite himself? And that who knows how long that goes. Maybe by the time he gets back to himself, they're in a hole that they can't get out of and don't make the playoffs or something like that. And then this year, when he was healthy, they weren't going to make the playoffs. And these are his numbers. I mean, those ranks, you just can't put him at number. The team record, the passer rating, 23rd out of 32 starters. You just go down the line. The yards, he threw for a lot of yards. Outside of that, it was bad. And then, Nick, even the last 3 years, I've shown this several times.
This is the one that I will
But the last 3 years are low. I mean, I get it. He did win a Super Bowl. Historically, of course, he's the best quarterback on there. But I'm saying now, this is now 3 seasons of mediocre stats.
So can I show you these last 3 seasons through a different lens? Because here's his last. This is also his last 3 seasons. He's the most yards. He's the 8th most touchdowns. And even with this year, 4th wins. And here, don't show the next one yet. Because as we watch this postseason, and aside from, and even Stafford, who you thought wasn't playing great this postseason until the game they lost, actually, and we are reminded how difficult and rare it is to play great in the postseason. In these last 3 years, again, this is during the down period. I'm not talking about anything BNME, nothing Tyreek Hill, nothing his MVP year. His postseason numbers, and again, he wasn't there this postseason, he still are these. 280 yards, 100 rating, all traditional Mahomes numbers. So,
I agree. And I actually think Mahomes has skewed. He has been so good in the play. Yes, because we've seen great. Brady was not great in all his playoff games. Peyton Manning, we know, has been bad. More often, it's not quite Lamar, but you see a lot of great players
Josh
have
Allen
the
just
ups
had
and
4
downs of
turnovers in
Lamar.
his last
Right, so
playoff game.
I'll give you that. I'm just saying.
I didn't think you were going to argue for Stafford. If someone wants to say it's Matt Stafford, I think he has a very strong argument. My argument had been, we had been calling it a big 4 of Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. And even though Mahomes had, by an unequivocal down year, and the team, for the first time in his career, didn't make the conference championship game, they didn't even make the Super Bowl, none of those guys, to me, took it. Allen had an opportunity, and if they had lost in round 2 in a normal game, maybe he would have. But the way they lost, Lamar and Burrow missed the playoffs, so that to me is what makes it tough.
He still would obviously be in the top, that top 5 tier 1, but I don't think he could be at the top.
KW?
I feel like Jaden Daniels is being penalized for having a better year than Caleb earlier than Caleb. But since Caleb just did it and Jaden was hurt this year, he fell too far. So this was Jaden's rookie year versus Caleb's current year. So he's had a better record, better completion percentage. Total yards were more. The touchdowns to turnovers were a little bit more. Passer rating better. And he went further in the playoffs. But because he did have a knee sprain, a hamstring, and an elbow, we've kind of just dropped him down too far. The other idea about Caleb is he's not, he completes 58% of his passes, but when it's winning time in the 4th quarter or late in games, he plays great. Man, Jaden had that his rookie year too. Better completion percentage. The yards are about the same. Touch, he had 4. This is very similar. Yeah. Passer rating was higher.
This is great.
So I just feel like he's become a bit of the forgotten man because Caleb was spectacular. Drake is headed to the Super Bowl, and Jaden is sitting back there being like, man, I was pretty good. I just got banged up a little bit. Now all of a sudden I'm down here with Cam Ward. And I'm a Cam Ward guy, but gee whiz.
I definitely agree that if this was Mahomes Mountain 1 year ago, that Jaden should be way higher and Caleb
And he
should be way
was
lower.
in the
And
top
he was.
5.
I don't know what to. I agree that Jaden last year was way better than Caleb and Drake and Bo. And then this year, he was the worst of the 4. And he was hurt multiple times with multiple different injuries, and his team was bad.
Yeah, I like Wild's argument. I think when I look at it, it's hard to have a player even stay the same when he's not even available. And so if we would have been able to have more Jaden.
Who do you think has a better year next year, Caleb or Jaden?
Honestly, I like Jaden. I think he's fantastic. With this pairing of head coach, coordinator, with Ben Johnson and Caleb and this natural progression and young roster and developmental guys around him at the receiver position and tight end position, Caleb.
Yeah, I would feel better about Jaden if he had missed the same amount of games and it was because of one injury.
He came back too fast.
Well,
he did.
I feel like
he did.
I think the injury plays a big role. I think you're doubtful
Yeah.
that he's going to be healthy, consistent.
Very skinny.
So that's fair.
Walmart Business saves you time, money, and hassle, which means you can focus on what really matters. Like putting the money you save back into what you do, spending more time training your team, filling orders, and finding new clients. Anything and everything, right down to, oh, that's one, choosing the best hold music. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love. Now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Saturday, number 2, UConn. We're just behind Arizona, you know. Taking on Creighton. I do not like playing Creighton. They give us problems. Saturday at 7 o'clock, only on Fox. News out of Buffalo, Greg. Josh Allen, brand new coach. Actually, it's his current OC. Joe Brady. It's a fresh start. Kind of. Do you think the Bills got better with this hire?
So I'm not sure if they got better because that's to be seen. However, I think when we talk about guys like Caleb getting his head coach and coordinator and having a longer runway now with them, the development and the idea of that's what we're growing with. That's kind of the mindset when you're ownership and you're thinking about Josh Allen and what we saw from Joe Brady in the development of Josh Allen. Like we saw him trend in a different direction with taking the ball out of his hands, playing a smarter brand of football. That all stemmed from Joe Brady taking over as offensive play caller. When you are in that position, you also have to answer to a head coach. Like, okay, do we go for it on 4th down? What do you think, coach? I don't know. I'm not in control of the defense. Now he's a head coach. He already has the quarterback in lockstep. Can they get better offensively, weapon-wise? Of course. However, now you have the overarching, this is the power to I want to go for it on 4th down. I don't have to answer to anybody, or I don't want to go for it on 4th down, or this is the type of defensive guy that I want to bring in. So that's to be seen. I think we will get a good version of the Bills offense because that's what we come to expect. How great depends on what they end up looking like from a skill position.
So here would be my concern. I think Josh Allen as your quarterback gives your offense a very high floor. A higher floor actually than most great quarterbacks because he can be such just a great power runner. That, you know what I mean? There are certain things that I think Josh and Lamar create at their best and when they're healthy. You're just averaging 20 a game. It almost is, independent of a floor of 20.
Darn near 30.
Right. And so my concern would be this. I understand that in the playoffs, most notably in games against Patrick Mahomes, but now also a game against Bo Nix, the defense got shredded in those playoff games from the AFC Championship game in 2020 to this last 6 straight years of the playoff game they lost. They got shredded. In the regular season, I believe these defenses every year, including this one, outperformed their talent level. I think the Bills had excellent defenses without necessarily having a bunch of excellent defensive personnel.
And guys were hurt.
Right, and that is where I think the value of Sean McDermott was, and that is the risk of the cost of this and the risk of this. Add to it, you love Joe Brady as a play caller. Is he going to be, and we haven't seen the press conference yet, we don't know yet, are you going to ask rookie, young head coach Joe Brady to also be play caller? Because some guys can do it.
They did it with Matt LaFleur. They're doing it with Ben Johnson.
They do it with Kevin O'Connell. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it is a lot to ask. They tried it with Sirianni. He gave it up. You know what I mean? There are other guys that have, given it up because it's too much. When Matt, the head coach of the Lions, Dan Campbell. When Dan Campbell took it over, I think that hurt them a bit this year. It's a lot. So it is a risky move that I'm sure Josh Allen was comfortable with. He sat in on the interviews and he knows the guy, but I can't say they got better today.
Well, I think the defense, and they gave up 27 to the Bengals in that playoff game they lost. And then if I remember correctly that year, didn't the Dolphins give them some problems?
Yes, but
with backups?
Yeah, they did. But that game, Josh, I think, had 2 picks and 3 fumbles. And so it was a lot. Skylar Thompson, it was high scoring, but I think a lot of adverse situations.
But I agree. Look, that is offensively, Greg, I think they're going to be at least as good. I think they're going to just hit the road where they are and take off, and they'll either be a little better or they'll be at least the same. And if they get a top-notch receiver, they should be better. So I feel like this hire essentially guarantees that they're not going to go backwards. They're going to be a contender just like they have been. The question
think it's a guarantee?
Yeah.
On offense or across the board?
Across the board. I agree with Nick. The defense, that's the biggest question because who's going to be you said they already hired the DC. And I agree. McDermott was great there. They had a lot of injuries. And they still always were very good in the regular season. But the postseason, they failed. Yeah. And miserably. I mean, they would give up 30 points a game in the playoff losses and things like that, 30 plus. So I agree that it's somewhat of a question. It is a question, what's the defense going to look like? But I think the offense will be so good, and I just trust that I think they'll still be solid defensively.
Can I hit a trivia question for you? Because I'm just off the top of my head. And I know this is recency bias. It's very interesting that, like you said, the owners of the teams were like, hey, we hit a wall, and we really just need to get over this wall, but we're right there on the edge. The successful coaching hires that we've seen recently took over for kind of messes and were successful. Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Sean Payton. Is there an example that we can point to? It's like, here was an internal hire that just got us, right? We went from here to there. And that was it. We had to actually remove McDermott.
Historically, it's guys like Parcells. I asked Josh about this. George Seifert. I mean, there's a while ago.
If you look at it through another lens, did the Bills get worse by letting Sean McDermott go? I think you would say, yeah, that's on the board.
That's definitely on the board.
But that's what I'm saying. You're like, it's a guarantee. I'm like, well,
was Gary Kubiak, Josh, with the Broncos? Because the Broncos, the thing is this, it's very rare that a really good team moves on from their head coach. So it's more often it's bad teams. But John Fox was the coach of the Broncos with Peyton.
Yes.
And then Gary Kubiak took over and they got to the Super Bowl, or they won the Super Bowl. But I don't remember if Gary Kubiak was on that staff or not.
Maybe McCarthy. Maybe McCarthy LaFleur.
LaFleur was on the McCarthy staff.
No, he wasn't.
No, I'm saying if just like, hey, we're still good and we're
Kubiak
the
came in from the outside.
I think he has to, when you compare to what Ben Johnson was able to do, and some of the other guys, when you have a coach and you lock them with their quarterback and they're young, the benefit stems, or the advantage you then have is you have to go out and get an offense or a head coach-minded defensive coordinator. Somebody who's been in the head coach, because you look at Ben Johnson, he has Dennis Allen.
Right.
Had been a head coach.
Well, that's not what they did. They got Jim Leonard. Jim Leonard, who had been.
Well, no, I know. That's my point. You would think that would have been the philosophy. This is why I'm saying I don't know if they are going to get better. I'm not willing to guarantee like you are.
The defense is the question.
Yeah.
I give
because
you,
Sean McDermott, to your point, he covered a lot of voids.
I think it's
But
risky.
I think, offense is going to not miss a beat.
Patriots won 4 games the last 2 years. They did have an easy schedule and are now in the Super Bowl. Here's some headlines from the Patriots' run to the Super Bowl. From the New York Post, Patriots being win from Super Bowl, hard not to view as incredibly lucky. That kind of hurt my feelings. This one really hurt my feelings. Cam Newton, we got Patriots jerseys. Come on. Cam Newton calls out Patriots for having, quote, easiest road in Super Bowl in NFL history, to the Super Bowl in NFL history. And then finally, Yahoo Sports, the Patriots have been gifted a path to the Super Bowl. Nick, we have a special edition of not title pie, it's credit pie. And as always, since we do a pie-based segment, it gives us a chance to expense a pie.
Yeah, what type of pie is it?
And it also ruins the segment, I would say.
I understand.
I don't think
can't eat anymore.
I don't. Oh yeah, you're off of pie.
Look.
Y'all trying to hurt
Is it
him,
Mississippi
brother.
mud?
It's Mississippi mud,
oh
of course.
My goodness. Well, KW, it's going to be all you. Because
Smells
Drew's
delicious.
off pie. Greg hasn't eaten a pie in 30 years. And I obviously, you don't get this physique by eating a bunch of sugar.
That's true.
So, so it's all you.
So
all right.
Credit pie.
And it's actually 2 pies.
2 pies.
I did a regular season and a playoff version.
Oh, excellent.
Regular season credit pie, and we'll go quickly here. I am going 5% luck. And that, I think, is less than typical. I actually think they were, I don't think they had, you don't look at a bunch of Patriot games like, oh my God, that one lucky bounce whatever play.
Now, this is the playoffs.
I'm about to show you the playoffs in a minute.
Oh, okay.
This is the regular season.
Okay.
Regular season, 5% luck, 15% schedule. All right, a little less than 1/6, where they had literally the softest schedule this century. That's not nothing. 20%, what you were calling their underrated defense. Mm-hmm. Actually, you were calling it overrated, but now you think it's underrated.
Yeah.
You thought they were you just made some Glass Joe comparisons, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. 25% Drake Maye. And that's the offense as a whole, but I'm giving Maye the lion's share of it. You got MVP level play
Maye and friends.
Yeah, from your quarterback. And I didn't love the supporting cast going into the year. Now, maybe it was underrated, but
unbelievable.
And I'm giving 35% to Vrabel and Josh McDaniels on the coaching staff. And I think that is, so in the regular season, that's how I saw it shake out. Here is how that has changed for the postseason. In the postseason, the schedule / luck, 5%. I don't think they've had an incredibly easy schedule as far as route to the Super Bowl. I do think you get 5% luck because the opposing team's quarterback broke his ankle on the final play of the divisional round, and it's never happened before. That, to me, is luck. I'm giving 15% to Maye and friends. I am giving 35% to Vrabel and the coaching, and I am giving 45%.
I like that.
To the defense, which has shut down every opponent they have faced, made Herbert look terrible, made C.J. Stroud play the worst half of playoff football we've seen since Jake Delhomme, and they allowed one play to Stidham and then shut him down the rest of the way. So that is the postseason credit pie. Brew?
Not bad. I differ. I am going to give 45. We're same on the defense, 45%. I'm giving 25% to Vrabel.
Okay.
I'm giving 25% to Drake Maye.
Okay.
Because he's made some big plays.
So you're taking 10% from coaching and giving it to Drake.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I guess this falls in the line of luck. Sorry, CJ, but 3% CJ Stroud.
Wow.
And 2%
to CJ
2% to the injury to Bo Nix. I mean, I guess that's luck. But CJ, I said it on that show. CJ has to wear that loss.
Yeah. Well,
CJ has to wear that. I think they should have beat y'all, but if they don't throw all those picks.
Look, I didn't do the pie. When you.
It's credit pie.
I know it's credit pie. Well, I'm not
whatever. Do you?
If I were to put percentages, I didn't put percentages on mine. If I were to put percentages, I would go 50%, and I'll just go strictly playoffs. I would go with 50% was coaching.
Wow.
Which is a lot. I know it's a lot, but a lot of the scheme, a lot of the calls that we saw and the adjustments that we saw offensively, definitely defensively, stemmed from coaching, getting healthy, obviously. I would give 25% to then the defense. Drake May, I will stick with the 15%. And what do I have
10 left.
I have 10. I'm not going to give that all to luck. I'll give 3% to luck and then
7% to
7%.
Mother Nature.
7%. Look, that offensive unit, they had a variety of guys that just played well too. So I'll give that to them, the offense. But
The
Drake May,
non-Drake May offense.
when you have a quarterback that's consistent, and they had that all season long, you have a defense that's evolving and getting healthy and health. That was the thing I wanted to give the 7% to, the health. You have a defense that's progressing and evolving, and you have coaching. You got the three most necessary ingredients to have success. I don't care. Everybody, every year has to have a little bit of luck.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of ball bouncing their way, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It happens to any and everybody. So I don't put all that, those headlines and all that. Don't let them stir you up. Wow.
Yeah, with Mac Hollins coming back, Patriots are at full strength going into the Super Bowl. Full strength.
Again,
nobody like
that was catches too.
the health is
Mac
important.
Hollins.
You just don't get
Unbelievable.
this oddly healthy.
I love this.
I'm going to be there.
Are you going?
I go every year.
Really? Really?
Of course. It's Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on Fox. Sorry, Kate.
Is it open?
No, this is
do you
just for the
compete?
record. This is the
Do I
agility.
compete?
Your
I
dog.
know.
Is it open?
No.
I don't know. Is it open to anybody?
Are the NBA
I gotta be
finals
honest.
open?
I know nothing
No.
about this.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
you can't. I can't bring Rocky and
I'm just
Ann
letting
into
you be-
the
I know about
agility
You know
championship.
about it?
I do, absolutely.
Greg and my dog are,
Yeah, I'm
the
not.
type of dogs that are allowed to compete.
Yes.
We just haven't given them the training.
Y'all could be in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're
Legit.
purebred show.
Okay, I believe
quality
it. You should get in it.
No,
That's not how
Did
it
you
works,
not,
bro.
exactly. Did you not
Lamar
just
has
learn?
given no indication
Start competing.
that he wants out of Baltimore. But Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk says it's not a guarantee that he's under center for the Ravens in Week 1. I think we got some sound here. Take a listen.
I don't think it's a given Lamar Jackson's going to be back with the Ravens. We've been talking about this. We've been writing about it. Just because John Harbaugh was fired, it's not like Dan Reeves versus John Elway back in the early 90s when Pat Bowlen picked quarterback over coach. I think there's still a chance that Lamar Jackson decides it's time for a fresh start for him too. And he's got a ton of power in this situation. He's got 2 years left under contract. There's a no tag clause in his deal. So he walks away 2 years from now as a free agent if he wants to.
Okay, do you buy that?
I will just say this. It seems like Florio's been hearing some of the same stuff I've been hearing, which is not that Lamar Jackson is leaving or Lamar Jackson wants to leave, but that it is 100% guaranteed that Josh Allen's the quarterback of the Bills next year. It's 100% guaranteed that Patrick Mahomes quarterback of the Chiefs next year. I don't think it's 100% with Lamar, and I think the contract stuff is going to be more complicated than Bisciotti made it sound like at the press conference.
Look, I could see it being contentious contract negotiations, but what he said, and to me this is reckless speculation. What he just said is Lamar might play out the next 2 years and then walk as a free agent.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm 29 years old, I'm a running quarterback, I've been coming off all these injuries, I want to lock up as much money as I can now. Because 2 years from now, I might be banged up and coming off a season where I missed 10, 12 games. So to me, that makes no sense. Secondly, why in the world would if Lamar Jackson were to leave, now if he gets traded, that's one thing. If he were to leave the Ravens for Miami, as the state that Miami's in right now, the Dolphins, or ask for a trade to Miami, you ain't about winning. You ain't about winning. You are on the cusp of being able to win a Super Bowl, and if you don't, it's on you, it's on Derrick Henry, it's on that vaunted defense, it's on your new coach. But if you were to leave a team that's close to go to Miami, where they aren't nowhere near close, you want to rack up stats. Or you want to enjoy your life in Miami and make a lot of money, but I can't imagine why a player would do that. Why would you
lay it out like that? It doesn't sound.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You want to enjoy your life, make a lot of money, put up stats. I'm like, wow.
No. And there are athletes that want that. I think Lamar wants, the thing he needs to get is a Super Bowl, and he's close.
But, Brew, you wouldn't think that a fully healthy Lamar Jackson makes almost any team a contender? Yeah. No, I mean, again, Miami was a playoff team not that
player,
long ago.
But they haven't been close to a Super Bowl in decades.
So sometimes I think we get too far removed from what players say and how they really feel about a situation. When you get drafted to a team, you have the thought process of, this is it. This is my team. I'm going to be loyal to them. They're going to be loyal to me. Steve Bisciotti is showing that Lamar, you're my guy. Lamar has stated, I want to win a Super Bowl for Baltimore, for this Ravens franchise. He has said that time and time again. What makes me believe that he's just going to walk away from that? He has shown, regardless of how we feel about him not playing, being injured, could he have played or whatever, he's shown an extreme amount of loyalty. And I think players, to our detriment at times, show more loyalty than organizations do to us. And I just believe Lamar Jackson, because of his statement of what he said, he wants to try to execute that. This getting rid of John Harbaugh, whether he was involved or that or not.
The reports are that it was some of him.
Regardless, he feels like he can still get this done and deliver on his promise.
And he was in the meetings, like on Zoom, but in some of the meetings with the coaches. Steve Bisciotti was right to say Lamar's not picking our coach. But I would imagine if Lamar would have been like,
But he said he was going to be involved in it.
Right, I'm not really on,
No, I buy all that, and I also think moving on from Harbaugh helped Lamar's future with the Ravens immensely. But if we're going to go back in time and talk about things Lamar has said, we are also 3 years removed from Lamar Jackson saying, I'm demanding a trade from the Baltimore Ravens.
I was waiting for that.
The last time he was in a contentious contract negotiation.
And I tell you right now, when you feel like you've been slighted, when you feel like you've been taken advantage of, and you're in your emotions, you will say something like that.
But that's my concern is, could those emotions come back with this contract negotiation?
Well, when you have your ownership that has spoken, and none of us I hadn't heard from Steve Bisciotti before, and now all of a sudden he's speaking like, Lamar, Lamar's going to be a part of it. I'm not giving any player power, but Lamar's going to be a part of our process moving forward as far as our interview process. Man, Lamar's going to be a Raven.
Live from New York, first things first, overtime today. Did Josh Allen pick Joe Brady as his head coach? I'm putting it out there.
It's reasonable.
He certainly didn't veto it.
Right.
That's right. So if you don't veto it, it's basically like picking it. Meanwhile, Top 10 Tuesday, this is a special edition. We're calling it, we didn't make the Super Bowl, but we still had a successful season, Top 10. So it's basically 12 teams, but obviously the Patriots and the Seahawks are in a good spot. What are the next 10 teams?
This is going to be fun.
No, it's an excellent list. And finally, could a Rodgers-McCarthy reunion win the AFC North?
Oh, this is little known fact about my longtime pal Danny Parkins. Can't stand Mike McCarthy.
Why?
2014 NFC Championship game.
Just will never get over it.
I can't get over it.
Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright.
One Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, kicking field goals from the 1 yard line repeatedly.
I told you.
Giving the ball to Eddie Lacy over.
But would you be optimistic?
Well, that was
about
before
this,
the fourth down
combo
range.
here. Yeah. This combo, would you like this?
No.
From a
how many wins
broken-hearted Bears fan?
A meaningless 8 to 9 wins. Just good enough to not do
Probably
anything.
right.
That's a sneaky win.
8-9 wins?
I think the larger
There's
conversation we need to have about the Steelers is the Steelers might have a different version of what's a successful season than the media.
They do not. They got 6 Super Bowls. They had one of the greatest dynasty ever.
I'm just saying, all the indications are there. If you want to win a Super Bowl, this is not how you behave. If you want to win 9 games, this is how you do. Bills stay in-house to find their next head coach, Joe Brady. From Carolina OC to Josh Allen QB coach, to OC to now head coach. The question here, Danny, is did the Bills get better in your general reaction on this hire?
So this one's a weird one. I do think the Bills got better. But have you guys ever seen Men in Black?
Yeah.
The movie where you have to hold up the thing in front of your face and it erases like a little, yeah, exactly. It erases a little portion of your memory. Like if I just erased the end of season ownership press conference and then you told me the Bills fired Sean McDermott because he had to go, there was too much scar tissue, there were too many losses, the defense underperformed in the playoffs, averaging 33 points allowed in the last 6 playoff losses. But the offense has been really good since Joe Brady took over for Dorsey. Josh Allen likes him. Don't let the 36-year-old offensive mind play caller out the door who's got a good relationship with your quarterback. And then you hired to improve the defense a 43-year-old defensive coordinator that's universally respected in Jim Leonard, who is coming from one of the best defenses in the NFL this year. I think we all would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Continuity, young, bright minds on both sides of the ball, young coaches. But instead, we heard the owner of the team be like, I thought we should have won because they caught the ball, but we got screwed by the refs, but I fired the coach because he was crying, and so we needed turnover, and then I just promoted the guy who was here. Like, their explanation for it made no sense, but I actually think where they got to is a pretty good thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just sold it really well. And I don't think they've taken a step back. I think it's all about Leonard and what he does with that defense. Because offensively, I think they're just going to hit the ground running. And they're going to be just as good. And if they get a better receiver, number one guy, they could be better offensively. And if Leonard is good defensively, I think they will. I will be shocked if they are not right back where they were, next year, where they have been the last several years, which is in contention to get to the Super Bowl. We'll see if they do it. And I don't care that I get it. The press conference was wacky. Who cares? He's not an owner that like Jerry Jones, where he's all in the mix and you know what I mean? He's not going to have any impact on the coaching to our knowledge. And so I think a lot of owners, if you put them in a press conference like that, they're not used to dealing with media. They might come off wacky. So that doesn't bother me at all.
So as I said at the beginning of the show, I try never to have a strong take on rookie head coaches. You know what I mean? That there is never, the closest thing to a sure thing I felt recently was Ben Johnson. That ended up being correct, but in the positive way. And the one that I was most skeptical of recently was Brian Schottenheimer, and that I think ended up being incorrect. I thought he did a nice job with the Cowboys, at least on the offensive side of the ball. It's all something of a black box with these guys. But I can't ignore the press conference, and I can't ignore that even without the press conference, we would have thought if Sean McDermott got fired after a game where Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times, and it was in part because, man, there is just too much scar tissue, to use your phrase. And promoting from within, when that's part of the reason, feels like you have a friend who moves out of an apartment that they like, they have a good lease payment on, all of it's like, me, yeah, but I lived with my long-term love there, and she left me. It's like, oh, okay, where are you moving? It's like, cross the hall.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess it's a little different, but you're still going to be constantly reminded of
great.
it. And so, I like the commute, and there are some positives. And the other piece of it is, I have a hard time deciphering how much credit Joe Brady actually deserves when we have seen Josh Allen post his second year in the league. He started to show who he could be in year 2, and then year 3, he was not fully formed, but he was MVP candidate that year. He's been an MVP candidate every year since then. And when you look at the 3 coordinators, the game his style has changed, right? He doesn't throw as much. He cut down on the turnovers to a degree, but also cut down on the yards. The overall efficiency, the touchdown-interception ratio is not all that different. And I just wonder if the order had been reversed. If Joe Brady had taken over for Brian Daboll and that team started 5-5, I know they put it on Ken Dorsey, but that if Ken Dorsey was sitting there...
wasn't Josh throwing the ball all over the place, too?
Josh was throwing the ball all over the place, but I think a lot of Bills fans, I think probably the guy sitting to my right is like, you know what the Bills should do? Throw the ball more with Josh Allen. And so an all-time talented quarterback gives you such a high floor on offense that I just can't really decipher how much is Joe Brady's brilliance and how much of it is Josh Allen's brilliance. But I do know that, at least in the regular season, I feel that defense consistently overachieved. And I don't look at Jim Leonard, a first-time defensive coordinator, as a sure thing. And I think Sean McDermott's loss will be felt there. I think having a head coach who's also a play caller, which I think this will be, game management stuff can fall through the cracks. It just feels risky. And now maybe whomever they hired was going to be risky, but risky without the catharsis of who cares about all these playoff losses? We have a new everything around here because Joe Brady learned under Josh Allen.
Less risky though. Like if they had brought in, I mentioned Clint Kubiak or anybody, we would have legitimately been like, we don't know. And you're right, Joe Brady, this is his first year, but it was his offense. They're going to keep essentially the same offense, which has been like top 3 in the league since he's been there. So
And James Cook has done really well under Joe Brady, right? So it's not just that Josh Allen has had similar production across the board. They actually have like a more traditional running game since Joe Brady's got there. What I am with you with on the press conference and not being able to shake the dysfunction is of the cream of the crop AFC guys, if we should be comparing Josh more to Burrow than we do Lamar.
What do you mean?
In that we know Cincinnati's a dysfunctional organization, and Joe Burrow is the deodorant for a lot of it. And how dysfunctional are the Bills that we just, like, if Josh Allen wasn't the first, second, or third best player in football.
That's what Mangini's saying McDermott might be.
Right. They broke their playoff streak with Tyrod Taylor with McDermott. Right. And so how much of that was McDermott as the armor to that? And can I ask, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm outstanding a quick question.
Yeah, go.
Take a new job. People always be like, tell your boss this. What does success look like? So when you go into the job, you know, like, oh, did I do a good job or not? You don't just take a job blindly. If Joe Brady says, oh, I heard your press conference, keep on coming up short in an AFC championship game, what does success look like for me next year?
I mean, he obviously has to make a Super Bowl.
That's it. So I think that it's
they will
when you frame it through that, it feels like
really tough. Yeah, I mean,
but that's why the other guy's gone.
I agree.
Absolutely, they'd be on your SBOB list, right?
No, absolutely. But listen, it's just in his first. Like if I mean, they've been to the conference championship and lost in heartbreaking fashion. So
rookie head coaches ever to win a Super Bowl.
That's the thing.
Don McCafferty with Wild's favorite team, the 1970 Baltimore Colts,
unbelievable,
who took over a team that had won a championship and was had been a champion, and George Seifert, who took over a dynasty in progress. Like the only two rookie, by not first year with the team, but first year as a head coach. They took over teams that had won championships. So and this applies to the Ravens as well.
Right.
The Ravens and Bills fired their coach because we're SBOB, and they're asking their coach to do something that's literally never been done.
That's why I think I hear you, and they are clearly SBOB, but if they get to the conference championship and lose, it'll be heartbreaking, particularly if it's to the Chiefs. But it's gotta. I mean, they have to understand that.
Well, they're obviously, if that happens, they're obviously not going to fire the guy.
Well, you said McCarthy got fired. He won 13 games, and he flamed out.
McCarthy got fired.
Yeah, but he had been there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But he had been there, and he's just getting there and hitting a wall. So they fire him. They bring in Sean. He's like, hey, pretty good job. Didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. You know what I mean? He had a longer leash.
So just real quick before we get to top 10, because we're going to need a lot of time for top 10, because spoiler alert,
I think
America,
it's good.
It's bizarre.
Really? Like a good segment. Fun.
When you guys say that you're confident they didn't go backwards, you think they maybe got better, here's where I think KW and I are. I would have been stunned if the Bills ran it back and next year they go 7-10. I think that was almost off the board.
Mm-hmm.
With a rookie first-time head coach, it can't be off the board.
Really?
Yeah, really. Yeah, absolutely.
Get me into it.
What?
I'm ready for that conversation. I got all the opponents. I'm ready. Oh, you got the Texans. The Texans, the Bears. It's not easy.
Yeah.
The Rams are up
I guess
there.
anything is possible.
Seahawks, you're playing both teams in the Super
The
Bowl.
Patriots twice, but they'll be coming off that Super Bowl loss, so they'll probably be down.
Are you sure? You're in for a real treat right now. It's time for Top 10 Tuesday, okay? This time, this features the top 10 most successful teams that didn't make the Super Bowl, okay? It's not just like Vince Lombardi style, winning's the only thing. You got the Patriots and the Seahawks.
So they're not eligible.
They're not
that's
eligible,
what it says in
but they
red.
got 10 other teams.
Yeah.
Some
And it's
teams are
not
like, guess
just
what?
the
We had a
standards,
good
the
year,
finish.
even though we're not in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
And if
These are
some
top
people
10
are
teams.
thinking, is Wilds overselling this?
No, I'm not. He told me to
This is
sell it. It's
actually a
good.
great. It's a great
like it.
idea.
Yeah, it just
and what you're
poorly
about to see is
executed.
just a terrible list.
No, I
it's
like
such
it.
a good idea.
Poorly
And the
executed.
list
friends
is
like
just
these,
No,
poorly
I'm
executed.
selling the heck out of
Yeah,
it.
It's
yeah,
coming
go ahead.
across real genuine.
Let's hear it.
Coming in at number 10, really successful season. My Los Angeles Chargers. It's not a me top 10 list if they're not on it. I'm sorry. Did you lose 2 of your 4 best players basically for the entire season? Still win double-digit games? Still prove that that's now your floor? Have top 5 cap space going the next year? And officially, they got this guy. Let's take a listen. Mike.
You know, you lose in the playoffs in the first round, and it's a lot of work that you feel kind of like you have an empty stomach. So that hunger, I could hear in his voice.
It's going to be great. It's going to be
Right.
great.
That
He
was
already
really
looks like
inspiring.
LA.
Right.
Just some of that.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
He already
He
looks
looks sharp.
like
He's
LA.
great. He is great.
It's going to work
He is
out
great.
beautifully. Coming in at number 9, very successful season for the Houston Texans. You might say, well, that's a little weird. Quarterback had some serious problems at the end of the year, but everything else on the defensive side of the ball screams if they can just get C.J. Stroud to be Bo Nix, they can win a Super Bowl. Their defense has now just been phenomenal. Went from good to great. You like your coach. You love your defense. That gives you an incredibly high floor. 12-win team, the team that no one wanted to play in the playoffs. We know that C.J. Stroud has talent. Can he figure it out? Coming in at number 8, the Dallas Cowboys. Nick's been saying it. I didn't like the coach at the beginning. Well, Schottenheimer actually did a pretty good job this year. Defense got better after the trade deadline, and they have 2 picks. They have the 12th pick and the 20th pick this year, so you've got an elite offense. It worked out with George Pickens. It worked out with the coach. 2 top 20 picks to add to that defense.
I like it.
Pretty good momentum going into next year for the Dallas Cowboys. Coming in at number 7, the San Francisco 49ers. They were under the radar for me for a lot of the year because I kept thinking, well, eventually it's going to fall apart. Too many injuries. Warner, Bosa, Brock Purdy, the wide receiver situation, the Ayuk situation. All of these top guys got hurt for a serious amount of times. Their first-round pick, multiple receivers, their quarterback, their best players on defense, and they were still a game away from the 1 seed in the NFC. It just shows that your coach-quarterback combination, the organization, is incredibly healthy. One of the highest floors of any organization in the NFL. Coming in at number 6, the New York Giants. Tons of flashes from Jackson Dart. A lot of frustration, but flashes. And you get back your running back. You get back what you believe to be a top 10, maybe top 5 wide receiver. You've got an awesome front 7. You finally have a competent head coach in John Harbaugh. Top 5 salary cap position. Top 5 pick, number 5 in the draft. A lot of optimism for Big Blue going into next year. Coming in at number 5, the Las Vegas Raiders. If you're not going to be great, you may as well be awful. Worst place to be is in the middle. You pulled the ripcord on the Pete Carroll experiment because that was a disaster that wasn't going to work out in the AFC West. It's a 1-quarterback draft with Mendoza out of Indiana, and you got the number 1 pick. So if you like him, you draft him. If you don't, you hold a bidding war, and you can completely retool your team. You're going to have a new coach and a new quarterback this year, and Tom Brady is heavily involved. That can only help. Great season in a bad season for the Raiders. Coming in at number 4, the Denver Broncos. A historic defense, a trip to an AFC title game, and if you win 14 games this year and 10 wins last year with Bo Nix, you have to feel remarkable about, man, We have multiple years left of Bo Nix on a rookie contract, and could have easily been in the Super Bowl this year if not for a devastating end-of-season injury. But the future obviously very bright in Denver. Coming in at number 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Cohen, real case for Coach of the Year. Had a top 10 offense in Tampa, brings it over immediately. Top 10 offense in Jacksonville, and he saved Trevor Lawrence. He saved the Prince. He saved the Knicks guy.
Well, the Prince, I mean,
he needed saving.
They helped each other.
Symbiotic
relationship.
He didn't.
Let's see Liam Cohen head coach team without the Prince. See how it looks. I'm just saying.
Well, you saw Baker Mayfield-led offense, but I believe we have the how the Jaguars finished the season offensively. Those 9 games on the right obviously carry you in for next year, feeling very good about your coach-quarterback combination. And save the running game, by the way. Travis Etienne finally living up to his draft position since Liam Cohen got there. Coming in at number 2, the Rams. Before the year, could Matt Stafford even play this year with his bad back? Ended up just being the MVP who led in passing yards, passing touchdowns, overwhelmingly likely to bring it back. And sneaky benefit for them, the Atlanta Falcons missed the playoffs. Yeah. Rams almost made it to the Super Bowl. They have 2 first-round picks. They get the 13th pick in the draft to continue to add to that team, and Stafford assuredly going to come back. And coming in at number 1,
that pick from?
Atlanta.
Atlanta from this year's draft.
When Atlanta traded out
James
for Pierce for the pass rusher. The Chicago Bears, most successful non-Super Bowl season. This most enjoyable season of 40 years watching the Chicago Bears beat the Packers twice. And if you solve coach and quarterback in one season where it legitimately is best coach since Ditka, best quarterback since ever in 1 year, and a bunch of throws of the year, Caleb Williams ends up on this list. This is the company that the Chicago Bears quarterback keeps. Best touchdown to interception ratio, first 34 games. Mahomes is pretty good. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
85 to 18.
85 to 18. Yeah, because that takes out the first 16. It doesn't.
Yeah, I understand.
16 games don't count.
Yeah.
His is pretty good, Nick.
85 to 18 strong.
Yeah, we're all chasing him. Still pretty good.
Yeah.
Company for Caleb Williams. Top 10 most successful teams this year. Brew, I assume, perfect top 10.
It's just terrible. Bonus take, but I'm gonna be quick because I know Nick wants to really hammer
as much time as you want.
The Texans, look, they don't know if they got a quarterback.
Correct.
They don't know. I'm sorry, and I love CJ. They don't know if their last game they found out.
Stroud if you're like, I don't know if he's the
He
quarterback.
threw 4 interceptions in the first half.
Then you don't love him. You got to ride with him or not.
I like him as a person, but my good, like.
I don't know him as a person.
But I like what I see. Nick, right? They went into this season and last season thinking we got our guy.
They were excited to give him $250 million.
Right. Okay. Now they have no idea, so I don't know that they can be on the list. And the Rams, look, I get they got to the Final Four. That's nice. If you want to have them really low, 9th or 10th, but this was not a success. They are S-Bob. Their quarterback's 37 years old, had an MVP season. It was about winning the Super Bowl. He might retire. Then next year they're starting all over at quarterback.
They weren't on your S-Bob list before the year.
No, but when you're that old, as far as your quarterback, and you've already won a Super Bowl, it's like we're not happy to get to the Final Four. We got beat by a divisional opponent with Sam Darnold, previously a bust, at quarterback. And we got beat because of our defense and special teams gaffe, which has been our problem for years. I mean, I get that they got far and that was nice, but that might have been Matthew Stafford's last dance, and certainly with them. And
he almost retired, and then you got to see an MVP season and an NFC
that was great. But once that became evident, he's cooking. We're not happy with anything but a Super Bowl, especially when we've won one already.
Anything else, Bruce?
No, the Panthers should be on there. The Panthers should be on there.
That's good.
Bryce Young, might be our guy.
Here's the issue.
Here we go. Go ahead.
7, 8, 9, and 10 are all ridiculous.
Great.
What happened with the Niners this year? I don't know. We found out some electrical
No, would you
substation
stop
is
with
poisoning
that?
their players.
That's just
They're going to have to do.
You are
Oh, we had
adding
such a successful season. Our GM at the end of season press conference was like, we're going to do an investigation over whether or not we have to move the stadium. That ain't great.
You're a little too online.
What about the John Lynch press conference said we're going to investigate it. What about the Dallas Cowboys? Let's go for it. Win right now. Trade future picks for Quinnen Williams. That didn't work out. George Pickens' experiment went great until, of course, it didn't at the end of the year, and he quit on the team, and now they don't know if they can pay him. Houston Texans. Everything's all great except for our number 2 pick of the draft franchise quarterback just melted down in the playoffs. And the Chargers had the only thing happen that can't happen, which is Justin Herbert had such a bad playoff game that even you came out and said, yeah, drop him a little bit. They fired their coordinator. So
they got a better one.
Well, maybe. So those 4 teams did not have successful
All right,
seasons.
and I know that I tipped you off on this, but as you always say with the top 10 list, the problem is you have to actually
Number 7, the Panthers. They made the playoffs.
Oh, good. They're going to pay.
Number 8.
They're going to pay Bryce Young.
I know that they're going to pay Bryce Young.
Pay him.
Number 8, the Titans. They moved on from a head coach who should not have been there, and they all of a sudden they're like, hey, Cam Ward showed me something the last month of the year. Number 9, the Saints. Kellen Moore looks at least fine, and Shuck might be a diamond in the rough as a second-round pick. And number 10, Miami ripped the Band-Aid off with their coach and their quarterback.
Miami, no.
They can move on. They can at least move on. It's better. Miami
year.
fans are more optimistic today than Texans fans. Tell you that much
no,
right
they
now.
are not.
No, they are
they
not.
are.
No, they
We're
are
starting
not.
fresh.
No.
Starting
fresh every 4 years.
I'm just starting fresh.
No.
Whatever it is.
They still got
those
to pay
teams.
Tua. That's the problem.
No, they're not paying Tua. They're
You don't
moving on
like
from it.
Cam Ward. The Panthers are just good enough to pay
like
Bryce
Bruce said,
Young.
I do like Cam Ward as a person.
You are correct.
No, they already paid him.
They're not writing a check to Tua at any point in the future?
No, the money's already paid.
Well, yeah, but it's on the cap.
They're on the cap.
I mean, they still got that money on the
They're
cap.
in
Schmap.
No, they're in a bad spot
It's not
financially.
so easy to make that top 10 list.
It's certainly easy not include
good. I thought it was good.
Thanks,
Oh,
Wyatt.
Really?
It was good. I would add the Titans.
I'll be honest, my
Not your
extra
best
team
work,
was going to be
man.
the Giants because I forgot they were on there.
I think it's.
Yeah, the Giants were 5th.
Yeah, that was good.
6th.
It started at 6th.
Does Danny want to see a Rodgers-McCarthy reunion in Pittsburgh? Discussed next on First Things First Overtime.
Welcome back to the OT. That is the new head coach of Willie's Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike McCarthy, and we got Greg Jennings, who used to play for Mike McCarthy, out here with us as well. Mike McCarthy was very emotional today as a Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh native being introduced as the new head coach of the Steelers. But of course, the top question on everyone's mind was whether or not he would want a reunion with Aaron Rodgers, and this is what Mike McCarthy had to say. Take a listen.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. And I have spoken to Aaron, and so that's really where we are there. But I was able to sit back and watch the games. I watched most of the Pittsburgh games on TV, and I thought he was a great asset for the team.
So, Greg, we'll start with you here because you won a Super Bowl under Mike McCarthy, catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, it is just true.
I mean, you got one too, though.
He ended up getting one. Is that reunion, a McCarthy-Rodgers reunion, something Steelers fans should be hoping for?
I don't think it's something that they were hoping for, no, because I don't think that they were looking forward to even a Mike McCarthy hire. Aaron Rodgers, the idea of bringing Aaron Rodgers back, I think it's probably, and Willie could probably speak better to this, but I think there's mixed feelings there. Obviously, him having the best performance since Ben Roethlisberger being under center, that holds some type of value, being able to go to the postseason. However, I don't mind this hire. I wouldn't mind even seeing them reunite, simply because when Mike McCarthy was talking, and he did get very emotional, he ended up talking about, development of young quarterbacks in that quarterback room and how you develop young quarterbacks. I think that was a large part of why he got the job. They want a guy that has proven that he can develop quarterbacks and get the best out of the quarterbacks. But it starts with having somebody in that room that they can look to show them how to do it. And Aaron was there obviously last year under a different Arthur Smith, under a different scheme. Now you're under Mike McCarthy. If he can get that and still have the opportunity to him have tutelage over those young quarterbacks in that room. Will Howard name came up several times in the chat and even with Mike McCarthy. Then that would be ideal because you would see how it works, but then you also get those reps in the offseason, which is what his quarterback school stemmed from.
Yeah, if I'm Mike McCarthy, there's nothing wrong with wanting that old thing back, right? We all remember that X, right? We that kept a twinkle in our eye. I think this comes down to fit and need. The Steelers need a quarterback who can solve the answers to the test at the line of scrimmage and still spin it. Aaron Rodgers can still do that. The question is, does Mike McCarthy fit this culture and locker room that Mike Tomlin built, right? That's going to be an issue. If he can, then it comes down, since you took this year off from football, have you evolved and caught up to modern-day NFL? Because one of the things that the bugaboo or the knock against Mike McCarthy's offense was that it was static, a little stale. Now that you've had this full year off, what are you bringing to the table that we haven't already seen? That's going to be key. Also, if you're the Steelers right now, with the defense, who you have to get going, you also have to get a run game. Because if you have a run game, that takes the pressure off the passing game. And since you have a 42-year-old quarterback and you need more options on the outside, you're going to need a running game to stabilize that. Can Mike McCarthy provide that? So, yes, do I want them together? 100%. But I want to see change. I want to see a more efficient Aaron Rodgers, and I want to see a new scheme Mike McCarthy.
So I'm going to say something that I know that you are not going to like.
Then don't say it. That's as easy as that.
Okay, fair enough. But I don't expect players, and certainly not a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers or a TJ Watt or a DK. I don't expect those guys to want to do that. And clearly the Steelers are not doing it because they hired Mike McCarthy. But I think what I'm saying is based in fact through history in sport, and that is there is value in being bad. It is a good thing to be bad for a short period of time. Because if Mike McCarthy brings back Aaron Rodgers, they won't be the worst team in football. In fact, they probably won't even be a bottom 10 team in football. But you know what they won't be? The best team in football. So you will be somewhere between 7 and 11 wins with a 42-year-old quarterback that maybe ekes out a playoff win. And when the whole thing, I watched that whole press conference today, how many times did they reference, we got to get that 7th trophy. Yeah. The standard is the standard. We are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bringing a 42-year-old quarterback in with a 62-year-old head coach, they're not winning the 7th trophy this year. To me, fastest path, if you're going to hire Mike McCarthy, is I guess you get him a quarterback that he can develop. Well, the best way to get a quarterback to develop is to get a great quarterback in the draft. The best way to get a great quarterback in the draft is to have a top five pick. Best way to have a top 5 pick is to be a bottom 5 team. Lose games this year, draft a great quarterback in next year's class that Mike McCarthy can develop, and start building the next era of Steelers football. What is the point of going 10-7 with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy? What's the point?
You're never going to sell Steeler fans or Art Rooney tanking. That's what you're asking. It's never going to happen. Okay. You're asking for this team to bottom out. For what? When you won the division this year, when you feel like you're a couple pieces away from getting back to where you need to be. When you, honestly, if you believe in Mike McCarthy and what he can do, believe the fact that he can develop a Will Howard to become a quarterback.
Do you believe that?
He only had 1 year. Nobody believes it because we haven't seen anything that he's been able to do.
Yeah, and I would add, I think you could sell that to the fans. Tanking. I think you could sell that to the fans.
You don't need to. You don't even need to say it. You don't need to say it. You don't need to sell it to the fans. You just need to do it.
As it pertains to developing quarterbacks, if you believe in Will Howard, and they spoke about Will Howard several times in this presser, of being, I'm excited to work with this young quarterback group. Will Howard, even before Mason Rudolph, they mentioned. Obviously, there's something that they see there that they feel like, you know what, I can work with that. If that is the case, you are going to bridge it with Aaron Rodgers, unless you just go into, and this isn't guaranteed. Let us start right there. Aaron Rodgers isn't guaranteed to be on this roster. He's just saying, you know what, if that opportunity presents itself, I wouldn't mind it. Why not?
But so even without Aaron Rodgers, what do you think the ceiling is with Mike McCarthy? Well, what's the ceiling there?
Well, he was hired to develop a young quarterback. And the thing about this situation, which is funny, Mike Tomlin, part of his legacy, he was able to do more with less.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy's going to have to do the same thing. Because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back and Will Howard is your quarterback or Mason Rudolph, he's going to have to deliver. And if he doesn't, that's going to be a knock on his legacy. So I love the fact that he's home. He understands the pressure. I understand the Steelers are willing to say, hey, we got a short window. We want to take the noise, but we want to bank on Mike McCarthy and what he has done because of his resume. I'm fine with that. You're never going to sell Steeler Nation or any organization that taking is the solution, because drafting a franchise quarterback isn't easy as buying a pair of shoes. It just isn't. They're lucky. It happens. Most teams that have one, they develop a team around them, and they put him in place and say, go. It's never about building, bringing one guy, he finishes it, he clears all the deficiency. It doesn't happen. It's about building a team. So the Steelers are in the business of building a team around a young quarterback, possibly in Will Howard. That's how you win Super Bowls.
I just think the clearest path to getting him, assuming we all believe that late rounds pick Will Howard is not going to be the next Tom Brady or Brock Purdy or whomever, assuming we all believe that, the best path to getting that quarterback is to have a premium draft pick. It's not a guarantee, but it is the best path.
Look, not every quarterback, to Willie's point, like not every quarterback strike gold
No doubt.
early rounds.
I'm just playing the percentages.
And when you are a storied franchise, it is definitely more challenging, almost impossible to sell the idea or to even grasp the idea of, you know what we're going to do? We're going to sit back and lose some games. We'll be in the basement. We're not going to try to patchwork. That's just not how, when you're a storied franchise, it is very challenging to subscribe to that idea.
It doesn't exist. It only exists for people that never played. No knock.
No, it's okay. I get it. Non-athletic regular person.
No, I'm not even saying. No, I'm saying that from a player's standpoint.
I get it.
A coach can never tell us, hey, and valid he's saying it or not, we know what they're doing or not. Our job every Sunday is to go out there and perform, not only for the name on our back, but for the city. You're never going to step into Pittsburgh and talk about, hey, man, we're waiting for year 2 or 3. That's going to be our year. It's never going to happen.
Hire me to do PR for you. You don't need to say it. You just need to do it. You don't need to say it. You don't need to tell anybody you're trying to lose. You just need to.
You mentioned rebuild. That's basically.
No, you just play Will Howard with a first-year head coach and trade T.J. Watt. The losing takes care of itself. You don't need to say it. You just need to do it.
They very well may be in that situation.
They'll set the city on fire before that.
Thanks for hanging out with the OT. We go and discuss the Seahawks. They're in the Super Bowl. Head coach Mike McDonald said Sunday, you can't talk about that Seahawks win without talking about how great Sam Darnold was. Well, he went to the podium again yesterday to say how impressive Darnold was facing all of that pressure. Take a listen.
Yeah, that was a great place. All-time great place. Standing in there and trusting the timing of the play and letting it rip. So it's pretty awesome.
Willie, what does a Super Bowl appearance mean for Sam Darnold?
I mean, he has the opportunity to rewrite his legacy. Bottom line, man. And I think he's proven right now that fit and scheme matters, which is important instead of raw talent, especially considering the draft, where he was drafted with Lamar and Josh and Baker. I also think right now and I think I said this yesterday, this offense to him is peaking at the right time. I think we've witnessed this during the last 2 games in the playoffs, and now he goes into the Super Bowl, and he has an opportunity to put his feet on Super Bowl grass. And I think you talk about, when he was drafted, I covered the Jets outside of here, and I remember when he was drafted, the Jets felt like they got their guy. The problem was they didn't have nobody around them, and they suffered, and he suffered because of it. And all he got out of New York was a slice of pizza in Mono. Not a good trip, And so then he goes to Carolina, on to San Fran, lands in Minnesota, and then what I'm most happy about is that it seems like he's found himself, right? He's found a home. He has guys that believe in him, and he's playing within a system that really benefits him and his team. And I like the fact that, man, he's not a I don't know how to say it. He's not a me guy, right? He's a we guy. He comes across a guy that loves the process. He's internally motivated, and he wants to win, and he's fortunate to be in this position. So I think this whole situation, he's able to beat the Patriots in Santa Clara, man. His trajectory's up, man. We talk about Sam Darnold in a whole different light.
Yeah, when I look at Sam Darnold, he exemplifies what it means to never quit. Like you talk about second act or rewriting his legacy.
Yep.
I look at it as second act when you talk about Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, those guys, we were kind of putting them in the upper echelon of guys that was able to do it all over again after their first tenure didn't work out. Now he becomes that poster child, if you will, of how it looks, knowing he doesn't have all the skill sets of a Lamar Jackson, of a Josh Allen. He is a pocket guy with some athletic ability, but he has to have the supporting cast. Like, what he's been able to do has been special. Like, and just to give you guys a greater glimpse of what it is, I put these numbers together, and this speaks volumes because of how we've always viewed Sam Darnold. And I know on the left you got this is down under pressure, regular season, that's all game Sam Darnold. But the passing touchdowns, 6 to then in the playoffs to 4, and that's in 2 games. That is impressive. Obviously, you're probably going to have more interceptions because you got more opportunities to be pressured. But the passer rating, he just turned it up a notch. All the things that we went into this postseason saying that Sam Darnold could not be if this team had expectations to get to the Super Bowl, you being one of those guys, was the guy on the left in the regular season. Yep. He had to turn into the guy on the right, exercise those Sam Darnold demons, and he did that. And so now you got a guy playing with an extreme amount of confidence and belief because he was able to do that, and so they put themselves in a great position.
You know, Nick does those like most to gain lists. Sam Darnold has the most to gain. He'll be number one when he does it for the Super Bowl because what you changing the narrative, perception, second act. It's a fifth act. It's his fifth team in 8 years, and the Super Bowl gets overcovered because we have 2 weeks to hype up, the biggest television event of the year. And Sam Darnold's, it's the type of story that it's like if he actually ends it, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy and as the Super Bowl MVP, it's like, do you want to join the motivational speaking circuit and so to talk to Fortune 500 companies about resilience? Like, it's just the type of thing that, Baker Mayfield will look to him. We'll be like, so who's going to be the next Sam Darnold? Maybe, is it going to be Daniel Jones in Indy? Yeah. Is it going to be Kyler Murray when he gets a new team? Like
Mac Jones.
He's going to be like that stand-in name for all of those things. And then, and I just keep going back to this, and I'll probably say it a bunch more between now and the Super Bowl. He's only 28.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Still
a young dog.
Because he entered the league so young, which is part of why he failed with the Jets, right? He's 21, 22,
There's a lot of reasons he failed.
No, a ton of Adam Gase, a ton of reasons.
He played a role, to your point.
No, but we wrote him off as a bust because at 22 years old, he wasn't able to save the Jets.
Yeah. Correct.
A lot of people haven't been able to save it. Now he's 28. Like, who knows what the next 10 years looks like for Sam Darnold? All right, from the Super Bowl to the Pro Bowl, the original 3 quarterbacks picked made sense. It was Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Drake Maye. Those sound like Pro Bowlers. But the Patriots have advanced. Drake Maye's roster spot, he's been replaced by Shedeur Sanders. What? Yeah, Shedeur Sanders. Greg, you played in a Pro Bowl. Willie, I believe you told me that you used to party at Pro Bowls?
All the time.
Yeah, you partied at Pro Bowls. You played in Pro Bowls.
Yep.
What does Shedeur's selection mean to you?
So this is the process. And I don't make a big stink about it because I understand how it works. I've also been an alternate for a handful of Pro Bowls and never got in. And so when you go through the process as players, there's a player vote, coaching vote, and then there's the fan part. As players, we have a list of guys. And the guys who are on the bottom, we don't even see them. They don't even make the list. And so we can't select a Shedeur. We can't select a Cam Ward. We can only select the guys that actually are Pro Bowl worthy, if you will. The fans, however, can vote for anybody. Shedeur was like 10th in quarterbacks at one point. So like the fans, this is what the fans did. But look, in terms of how it works, this right here is how and why he's getting in. If you look at the AFC, I don't care how you feel about Shedeur Sanders. It's not his fault. He was the next guy up that said,
Trevor Lawrence,
I do.
Declined.
There you go.
Declined, because it doesn't matter anymore.
He didn't accept it. So they're going to go to Trevor Lawrence first. And then probably Aaron Rodgers, nah, I'm cool. Like, what's the point of Aaron Rodgers going to another Pro Bowl? He doesn't care. So it just trickles down to the next available guy. You saw the list. All those guys have injuries, so you go to the next available guy, and it just happened to be Shedeur Sanders. And I know there's some Cam Ward fans that are like, well, what about Cam Ward? I ain't got no answers for you right there.
Yeah, I hate it because Shedeur takes unnecessary arrows, right? He now becomes the poster boy for everything wrong with the Pro Bowl, right? And I think when we played, going to the Pro Bowl was like you said at the Knights table. It was only the elite. There was some type of feeling that you were playing amongst the best Delta Force, right? That's no longer the case. And to Greg's point, man, he's the next guy in line.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't he take the nod? What do you want him to turn it down?
No, I have no issue with Shedeur. I don't think this helps him because people will use it as a punchline. Oh, Shedeur Sanders, Pro Bowler.
Correct.
They need to just figure out you're a Pro Bowler, and then we can make it an alternate distinction. Like Matt Castle is not the same level of Pro Bowler as Josh Allen, but they both made the Pro Bowl. But Matt Castle was an alternate. You know what I mean? Like Mitch Trubisky, an alternate, but technically a Pro Bowl.
Didn't Snoop Huntley make it?
Yes, Snoop Huntley. Just call these guys alternate. And also, it's the Pro Bowl games now. There's not even Josh Allen skipped it last year to play in a Pro-Am golf tournament.
Well, I understand why
it doesn't mean anything anymore.
But I understand why guys. You remember when Tyler Eifert got hurt, tore his ACL, crushed his career. So
sure.
I understand why guys are saying no monster.
But it's a meaningless thing now, and it used to really mean something. We have breaking news in the world of the NFL. You read that right? Not a typo, not the Onion. Bill Belichick will not be going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on his first ballot. Second most wins all time, most Super Bowls all time, most playoff wins all time. Not a good enough resume, I guess. There is a report from Seth Wickersham and Don Van Natta at ESPN that cites some sourcing believing that Spygate and Deflategate and the punishments around those cheating scandals with the Patriots have made some of the Hall of Fame voters on the coaches committee believe that Bill Belichick should, quote, have to wait a year, and that it was Bill Polian, a close friend of Robert Kraft, who was leading that charge. There's been a lot of reporting that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick and their rivalry, they've both been campaigning to get into Canton, and it seems like maybe Robert Kraft is winning behind the scenes there because Bill Belichick, not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Big yikes. It's ridiculous.
It's flat out ridiculous.
It's embarrassing.
It definitely is. Because are you going to make Brady wait because he was a part of it? Are you going to make Gronk wait because he was a part? Like, no, you're not. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is.
It's ego.
That's all it is.
I think it's not only ego, but at the end of the day, it's embarrassing for the NFL, too. Like, he is honestly, behind Vince Lombardi, he's the best head coach to ever walk the sidelines, and you're making him wait. Like, it's an embarrassment.
It is, and it'll be. No one, of course, was willing to speak on the record to that story about it. Yeah, because the 10 voters who didn't vote Bill Belichick into Canton, it's like, should you be voting? should you? Because it just seems a little personal. We'll be back tomorrow.